Chapter 134. Inside the main hall of the Red Blood Cave, the 9 protectors and 50 guard captains are all shocked by Qin Yu's first order. This is tantamount to weakening his own authority as the cave master. Normally, even brothers are only the main and vice cave masters. Do you have any objections? Qin Yu says coldly. The 9 protectors below wake up from their shock. No objections, of course no objections. Cave master is really broad-minded. We can't wait to be happy to have such a cave master. How could we have any objections? Ba Ming, the eldest of the 3 black tortoise brothers, flatters with a smile. The protectors all express that they have no objections. Objections my ass. It's none of their business. Changing the main and vice cave master system to the system of cave master, second cave master, third cave master, only weakens the cave master's authority. It has no effect on the protectors. Third cave master. We know that Brother Ho Fei is the second cave master. Who is the third cave master? Tung Bai asks. Qin Yu doesn't answer directly. You don't have to worry about who the third cave master is for now. You'll know when the time comes. Do I have to get the consent of the protectors to appoint someone as the third cave master? Hearing the coldness in Qin Yu's words, the protectors quickly shake their heads. Very good. Then I'll issue the second order. Qin Yu says while looking at the 9 protectors below. The 9 protectors and 50 guard captains begin to guess in their hearts. The first order is already so shocking. What will the second order be like? From today onwards, cancel the pursuit of the Black Eagle, and that Xiuxionist. Humph, Sang Mo and Shahon's enmity has nothing to do with me. Protectors, do you understand? Qin Yu very clearly expresses his disrespect for the previous cave master. The 9 protectors don't mind at all after hearing this. No matter how powerful Shahon was in the past, he's already dead. His soul has scattered. Who cares about him? Sang Mo is dead. Shahon is dead. Naturally, the arrest warrant for the Black Eagle and the immortal cultivators was withdrawn. Subordinate will follow cave master's orders. That Xiuxionist and Black Eagle should also thank cave master for his magnanimity. The eldest of the 3 black turtle brothers, Ba Ming, flattered again. Qin Yu didn't mind. The third order. Qin Yu's voice rang out again. All the protectors and guard captains listened attentively. This was the first time Qin Yu sat on the throne in the Grand Hall, and the first time he exercised the authority of a cave master. As protectors, their first performance was naturally very important. The last time I fought with that Black Eagle, I felt that his power was not below that of Protector Tung Bai. We should invite such an expert to increase the strength of our Red Blood Cave. Pass down my orders. If anyone finds any traces of the Black Hawk, they can inform me. Qin Yu was giving him a heads up. First, he expressed his intention to rope in Black Eagle in front of the 9 guardians. In the future, the 9 guardians would not be too surprised if Xiao He was roped in. Yes, Cave Master. We'll follow Cave Master's orders. The protectors immediately bow. This is really very funny. Not long ago, they were still chasing the Black Eagle. Now, according to the current Cave Master's orders, it seems that the Black Eagle will very likely become a member of the Inside the Blood Red Cave. Things in this world are really wonderful. However, the 9 guardians are not too surprised. After all, in the Xiuyao world, they were enemies not long ago, but in the blink of an eye, they can become partners and friends. Very good. Finally, protectors, don't make wild guesses outside. Lu Xing is only my code name. My surname is Qin. From today on, I'm going to do closed-door training for a period of time. If you have any problems, you can inform Second Cave Master. Alright, everybody can leave now. After saying so, Qin Yu immediately stands up and turns to leave. Ho Fei also leaves. See you off, Cave Master. The 9 guardians bow and say. Only after Qin Yu leaves do these guardians start to chat with each other in a relaxed manner. So Cave Master's surname is Qin. Cave Master is really mysterious. It's just that I still can't see his power clearly. It's hard to say whether or not he used all of his power when he fought with Boss Tung. Boss Tung, what do you think? Yezhong looks smilingly at Tung Bai. Tung Bai says coolly. Probably not. Oh my, Boss Tung. What do you mean probably not? Don't tell me you didn't feel it at all? Yen Qing says discontentedly. Tung Bai says with a nod. When Cave Master fought with me, his speed was really too fast, much faster than mine. I didn't even have time to block his attack before I was sent flying. Moreover, I felt that his energy was very sharp and condensed. There didn't seem to be a single bit of excess energy wasted. The other guardians' faces all change color. When an expert launches a powerful attack, it will usually cause the wind to surge and the clouds to surge with a magnificent momentum. The momentum is indeed great, but this also means that a lot of the power of the attack was wasted and did not hit the opponent completely. Cave Master fought with Boss Tung without wasting any energy? Wu Feng says in shock. Wu Tong nods and says, Cave Master is really unfathomable. This group of guardians is amazed by Qin Yu's power, but they simply don't know the characteristics of the stellar transformations technique. When one cultivates to the level of Lu Xing, his energy is condensed into a line. When he attacks, his power is also very condensed, and there is almost no unnecessary waste. Everyone, just now Cave Master said he went into closed-door training. Sai, the previous Cave Master Shahon, also often went into closed-door training. Now Cave Master also often goes into closed-door training. Really, does Cave Master have to go into closed-door training often? Xian says lazily. The other guardians also nod. On the first day of being Cave Master, Qin Yu went into closed-door training. Humph. Don't tell me you can't see anything from this? Tung Bai says coldly. The other 8 guardians all look at Tung Bai. In order to maintain his position, Cave Master must suppress everyone with his power. Naturally, he has to maintain his power at the peak. That's why he often goes into closed-door training. You only see Cave Master's power, but you don't see why he is so powerful. If you do as you please, you'll never be able to catch up to him. I'm also going to go into closed-door training. Goodbye. After saying so, Tung Bai turns around and leaves the main hall directly. The other guardians are stupefied by his words, but what Tung Bai said really makes some sense, so they are a bit moved. On the way to the northern district, Qin Yu and Ho Fei are walking side by side. Fei, after I go into closed-door training, you'll be in charge of everything in the Red Blood Cave. Now the most important thing for us is to stabilize the interior. If the interior is unstable, once the people of the 9 Spirits Hall come here, it'll be a bit troublesome. Qin Yu says through his holy sense. Ho Fei also agrees. Big brother, you don't have to worry about this. The Blood-Red Ridge is only so big, so it won't be hard to stabilize it. But you killed Di Tong, so his 8 brothers definitely won't leave the matter at that. Facing them, those mediocre experts don't matter. The most important thing is the experts. After this closed-door training, I should be able to reach the late stage of Lu Xing. But even so, after reaching the late stage of Lu Xing, I'll be able to fight against late Dongxi stage Xiaxianists. As for late Dongxi stage Purple Demon Aquatic Dragons, I really don't have much confidence. Qin Yu knows very well that Purple Demon Aquatic Dragons are extraordinarily gifted. A late Dongxi stage Purple Demon Aquatic Dragon is comparable to a Kongming stage Xiaxianist. He really doesn't have any confidence in dealing with experts of that level, unless he goes all out with Lu Xing's tears. However, going all out is not something that can be done easily. If the opponent smashes Qin Yu's head and destroys his soul, it will be useless no matter how powerful Lu Xing's tears are. Or if the opponent destroys Qin Yu's Dantian, it will also be terrible. Therefore, unless he has no other choice, he must go all out. A late Dongxi stage Purple Demon Aquatic Dragon. Well, according to my hereditary memories, it'll be very difficult to deal with. Ho Fei says helplessly. Even if I go into berserk mode at the risk of serious injuries, I'll only have a 50-50 chance of winning. Qin Yu and Ho Fei talk for a long time. In the end, they still feel that the 9 Spirits Hall is too powerful. However, Qin Yu and Ho Fei understand that with their current strength, they will be able to sweep away the other 7 caves under the command of the 9 Spirits Hall. After all, the Red Blood Cave has Qin Yu, Ho Fei and Kuro. Its strength is far greater than before. Cave Master, Second Cave Master. Seeing Qin Yu and Ho Fei, the patrolling guards immediately bow and greet them. Haha, this order spreads really fast. I just passed it down in the hall, and these guards already know to call you second cave master. Qin praises them. In fact, as soon as those squad leaders left the main hall, they immediately sent messages to their subordinates through holy sense communication. Hou Fei's eyes glitter with excitement. Kaka, I also have subordinates now. Well, if I have nothing to do, it won't be bad to train these brats. Hearing Hou Fei's words, those patrolling guards cannot help but feel their hearts skip a beat. Second cave master will train them? What kind of scene will that be? They have all heard how terrifyingly powerful this second cave master is. In the group of secret underground rooms in the North District of the Red Blood Cave, nearly half of the secret underground rooms have been destroyed because of the fight between Shahon and Di Tong. However, many of them are still intact. Qin Yu has people take those broken stones out. He himself enters a secret room inside and starts to practice again. The roof of this secret room is round, and the bottom part is square. Qin Yu is sitting on a rectangular cushion woven from soft sea grass in the middle of the room. Di Tong's Yuanying, whose energy has been partly absorbed by Qin Yu, is now one size smaller than before. Now it flies to Qin Yu's front again. As a flame wraps around this Yuanying, Qin Yu starts to refine Di Tong's Yuanying again. Various beams of golden light shoot out from Qin Yu's body, looking like suns. The golden light wraps around Qin Yu's whole body, forming a nebula that rotates non-stop. Various purple liquids flow out of the purple Yuanying and are absorbed by Qin Yu's body into his dantian as the nebula rotates. In his dantian, the 3 golden granules in the center of the huge nebula are moving non-stop. If the trajectories of the 3 golden granules are drawn and completely merged, they will form a sphere. The star flame is burning the purple liquids non-stop, and all the impurities are burned away. As time goes by, the 3 golden granules gradually begin to grow bigger. The silvery granules in each ring of the huge nebula also grow bigger unceasingly, looking like countless stars. Qin Yu is practicing quietly. Nobody comes to disturb him. 3 days later, clack. A very clear sound is heard. The 3 golden granules in his dantian have become as big as quail eggs. Now they split into 3 parts again. They immediately turn into 9 golden granules. The 9 golden granules are still rotating according to the spherical trajectories. Countless silvery granules also split into 2 halves again. The number of silvery granules has doubled again. The late stage of Lu Xing. Qin Yu has finally reached the late stage of Lu Xing. However, a small part of Di Tong's Yuanying has not been refined. Qin Yu naturally will not waste it. He continues to absorb and refine it. As time goes by, about a day and a half later, Qin Yu has finally completely absorbed Di Tong's Yuanying. Qin Yu is still at the late stage of Lu Xing. It indeed requires a lot of energy to reach the early stage of Dongxiu from the late stage of Lu Xing His. In his dantian, the 9 golden granules rotate unceasingly. Because of their marvelous trajectories, the 9 golden granules have a mysterious reaction with each other. In the center of the 9 golden granules, faint rays of light unexpectedly appear like electric snakes. Those faint electric snakes are connected to the 9 golden granules. However, the trajectories of the 9 golden granules remain unchanged. When the 9 stars unite, the stellar core will be formed. But I'm still quite a distance away from the unification of the 9 stars. Qin Yu opens his eyes and says to himself with a smile, at the late stage of Lu Xing, the center of the 9 stars will have an attractive force. When the attractive force reaches its peak, the 9 stars will be completely absorbed. When the 9 stars unite, Qin Yu will be able to reach the stellar core stage. But before that, Qin Yu needs to overcome the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation. I've killed one of those aquatic dragons in the 9 spirits hall. The other 8 will definitely come to investigate. The Red Blood Cave is the closest to the Qianlong continent. The 9 spirits hall is 80 million li to the south. Even though the purple demon aquatic dragon is at the Dongxiu stage, it will still need at least a year to get here. Although there is still a year, Qin Yu still feels that the time is too short. If he were given 10 years, Qin Yu is confident that he will reach the early stage of the stellar core stage. Once he reaches that stage, Qin Yu will be able to confront the 9 spirits hall head-on. However, at the moment, Qingyu does not have the power to do so. Why should I care so much? I'll deal with whatever comes my way. Fei Xiaohei and I will join hands. What's there to be afraid of? Qingyu no longer thinks about the threat of the Nine Spirits Hall. Instead, he takes out several things from his space ring. There is a spear of the highest grade, a jade slip of one of the 9 swords, and a black jade box. Qingyu opens the jade box. There is a jade slip inside. Qingyu scans it with his spiritual sense. Oh, the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion has 9 keys. According to the description inside, this 9 Swords Immortal Mansion is really something. This jade sword of mine seems to be the 8th key, but Qingyu bursts out laughing. Even if they have gathered the other 8 jade swords, without this one of mine, they still won't be able to open that immortal mansion. Qingyu immediately understands this point. His power is weak, but it will be fine as long as he doesn't take out his jade sword. Even if the others gather the other 8 jade swords, they probably won't be able to open the immortal mansion. However, Qingyu will be patient and wait until he has enough power to confront the Blue River Province, the Blue Dragon Temple, and the 9 Spirits Hall head-on, before taking out his jade sword. However, at the moment, Qingyu does not know how deep the bond between the brothers of the 9 Spirits Hall is. How can they possibly give Qingyu time to wait patiently, and give Qingyu time to increase his power? This time, the leader of the 3 brothers is Di Jian, who is at the late Dongxi stage. Even Hou Fei will find it hard to deal with him. Chapter 135. Deep at the bottom of the sea, Di Jian, Di Qing and Di Luan, dressed in purple robes, are traveling side by side. Wherever they go, the seawater is parted and waves rise. 7th brother, 8th brother's death was very strange. That red blood cave is in the far north, close to the Qianlong continent of mortals. The Blue River Province and the Blue Dragon Temple are even further away from each other than we are. Given the long distance, the murderer shouldn't be someone from the Blue Dragon Temple or the Blue River Province. Di Qing says after pondering for a long time. Di Qing's words are reasonable. After all, it is a secret that Di Tong has gone to the Red Blood Cave. Even the other 8 brothers of the 9 Spirits Hall don't know about it. How can outsiders know about it? Even if people from the Blue River Province and the Blue Dragon Temple find out that Di Tong has gone to the Red Blood Cave, perhaps they won't have enough time to kill him. Di Luan is a pretty good strategist among the 9 brothers. After thinking for a while, he says with a nod, "Second brother, do you still remember how Shahon didn't respond at all when we sent a message to him?" Before setting out, Di Luan had sent a message to Shahon asking about it. However, the message he sent was like a clay ox entering the sea, never to be heard back. There are only 2 possibilities. The first is that Shahon is already dead. The second is that Shahon used some sinister method to kill 8th brother, so he went into hiding. After seeing our message, naturally he didn't dare to respond. Di Qing concludes. However, at the moment Di Qing and the others are unable to tell whether Shahon is dead or alive. In fact, the 9 Spirits Hall has never thought highly of the so-called 8 cave mansions under the command of the 9 Spirits Hall. These 8 cave mansions merely represent the managers of the 8 regions, and are merely chess pieces used by the 9 Spirits Hall to manage the 90 million li of water area. The 9 Spirits Hall has not collected the 8 cave masters' soul jade slips either. Just ask him, why are you making wild guesses? The cold-hearted 6th brother Di Jian has spoken. Hearing 6th brother's words, Di Luan's eyes brighten. He says, "Second brother, I have a way. Not only can we find out whether Shahon is dead or alive, but it will also be of great help to us in finding out who killed 8th brother." After saying so, he takes out a transmitter. Di Jian and Di Qing are immediately delighted. They both look at Di Luan. Send a message to the Great Shell Cave, which is right next to the Red Blood Cave. The cave master of the Great Shell Cave must know something about the Red Blood Cave. As for the other method, you can ask the Great Shell Cave Mansion about it. Di Luan says smilingly. Di Luan sends a message to the Great Shell Cave Master. In just a short while the Great Shell Cave Master sends a message back. As soon as Di Luan takes a look, a faint smile appears on his face. As I expected, The Great Shell Cave's master informed us that the Red Blood Cave's original master, Shahon, is already dead. This news has already spread throughout the Red Blood Cave's territory. The Great Shell Cave also knows about it. Shahon is dead. Hearing this, Di Qing has another guess in his mind. Who's the new cave master? Di Qing knows very well that if someone killed someone to seize the position, the new cave master is usually the one who killed Shahon. Since he could kill Shahon, he might be able to kill Di Tong as well. Wait a moment, second brother. I'm asking. Di Wan waits for the Great Shell Cave's master's reply. After a while he says with a frown. Second brother, sixth brother. According to the Great Shell Cave's master's message, the new cave master is Guardian Lu Xing of the original Guardians. As for why Shahon died, we don't know. Guardian Lu Xing? Di Qing says to himself. Di Jian, Di Qing and Di Wan are all pondering. Second brother, sixth brother. Do you still remember that old turtle Qing Xian from the Red Blood Cave? Do you still remember the battle several hundred years ago? Di Wan suddenly says smilingly to Di Jian and Di Qing. Di Wan already has an idea. Di Jian is startled. Old turtle Qing Xian? I don't know him. Sixth brother. You don't pay attention to outside matters, so it's normal that you don't know him. What about you, second brother? Di Wan looks at his second brother Di Qing. Di Qing says with a nod. I know that old turtle Qing Xian. When we chose to be the manager of the Red Blood Cave's territory, both Shahon and old turtle Qing Xian fought over this position. In the end they fought. Even though Shahon won by a bit in the end, old turtle Qing Xian's defense is so amazing that Shahon couldn't kill him. Di Wan says smilingly with a nod. That's right. Old turtle Qing Xian's defense is really outstanding. Now he's also an early Dongshu stage expert. Most of the 8 caves under the command of our 9 spirits hall don't have complete control over their territories. The Red Blood Cave is one of them. There are so many experts in the territory of a cave, so how can all of them submit? Nominally, the territory within 8 million li of the Red Blood Cave is ruled by the Red Blood Cave. In fact, the Red Blood Cave only has complete control over the Blood Red Ridge. The Red Blood Cave has no control over some distant valleys and canyons. Qingxian Ridge, where old turtle Qingxian lives, is not under the control of the Red Blood Cave even now. Even though he is not as powerful as the Blood Red Ridge, now that Shahon is dead, old turtle Qingxian definitely won't submit to the new cave master's control. We can. Di Wan laughs evilly. Di Qing's eyes brighten. Haha, seventh brother, you're really smart. Right, nobody knows anything about that new cave master, Guardian Lu Xing. So it's not a bad idea to let old turtle Qingxian have a try. If Guardian Lu Xing can kill old turtle Qingxian, then Guardian Lu Xing will be very suspicious. Di Wan also nods. Now that Shahon is dead, the new cave master will naturally be suspected. If that mysterious new cave master has killed Shahon, he may also have killed Di Tong. The Great Shell Cave's master and old turtle Qingxian have a bit of a friendship. Di Wan says smilingly. Second brother, sixth brother. Why don't we directly support old turtle Qingxian and tell him that our 9 spirits hall has decided to make him the new master of the territory within 8 million li of the Red Blood Cave? As soon as Di Qing hears this, he cannot help pointing at Di Wan and scolding laughingly. Seventh brother, you're really vicious. In the past, the old turtle Qingxian and Chahong had competed for the position of the Blood Red Cave's new overlord. Qingxian had always regarded this matter as the greatest shame of his life. If he knew that Chahong had died, and the 9 Demons Hall had appointed him as the new overlord of the Blood Red Cave's territory, how could he possibly sit still? That's right, seventh brother. If we say that we've appointed old turtle Qingxian as the new master of the Red Blood Cave, and that Lu Xing has defeated him, then he is only a suspect. It won't be good for us to investigate him. After all, we've appointed old turtle Qingxian as the new master. Di Qing says with a frown. Di Wan, however, says with a smile. Have we appointed him? We've only asked the Great Shell Cave's master to send a message. If old turtle Qingxian succeeds, then so be it. If he fails, then of course we'll blame it on the Great Shell Cave. I don't think that Great Shell Cave's master will dare to say anything even if he takes the blame. That's right. If the majesty of the Nine Spirits Hall wants him to take the blame, will he still dare to say anything? Wonderful, wonderful seventh brother. Quickly ask the Great Shell Cave's master to send a message to old turtle Qing Xian, so that he can rebel and seize the cave master's position. That Lu Xing, I've never heard of his name before. Now I want to see how powerful this mysterious person is. A hint of coldness flashes through Di Qing's eyes. If this Lu Xing can kill old turtle Qing Xian, Di Jian, and the other two brothers will have no choice but to list him as the number one suspect. This method is to see how powerful this Lu Xing actually is. If he is killed because he is not powerful enough, the three brothers naturally won't care. In the territory of the Red Blood Cave, there are nearly 10,000 Zuyoists in an underwater mountain range, several times smaller than the Red Blood Cave's territory. The Qing Xian territory can be called a state within a state. Even though it is nominally under the Red Blood Cave's territory, in fact it is not under the command of the Red Blood Cave. In the old turtle Qing Xian's cave in the Qing Xian territory, two ladies-in-waiting are slowly fanning themselves on one side. Old ancestor Qing Xian is lying on an armchair with a smile on his face. His green fiery hair, which was nearly a meter long, was slowly fluttering in the wind. Old ancestor Qing Xian's green eyebrows were also fluttering. Old ancestor, I wonder what good news you've heard to make you so happy? A handsome man in white walks in and says respectfully on one side. Old ancestor Qing Xian says nothing. His facial expression keeps changing. Sometimes it is ferocious and sometimes it is so excited that he wants to kill. Haha, Bai Yan, do you know about the Nine Spirits Hall? Of course I do. The Nine Spirits Hall is the real master of the area, within a radius of 90 million li. It is one of the three superpowers of the underwater Zuyoist world. How can I not know about the Nine Spirits Hall? But why did you mention it? The man in white says doubtfully, holding his long eyebrows between his index and middle fingers. Old ancestor Qing Xian says slowly, you should know that the Nine Spirits Hall has already ordered the Great Shell Cave's master to send me an order. That Shahon has already died, and I'm now the new cave master. Haha, the heavens are helping me, the heavens are helping me. That Lu Xing or whatever. Who could have thought that this little guy who ran out of that mountain range actually wants to be the cave master? He doesn't even know if he is qualified. Now that I've been appointed by the Nine Spirits Hall, it's perfectly justified. Old ancestor Qing Xian suddenly stands up. The man in white bows and waits for the order. Bai Yan, send my order. Spread the news that I'm the new cave master. Tell them that I was personally appointed by the Nine Spirits Hall, and that Lu Xing, or whatever, is not justified. Old ancestor Qing Xian's green eyes flash with a poisonous light. Go ahead, go ahead. Those who aren't willing to submit, go ahead. I want the blood-red ridge to be in complete chaos, and blood to be spilled everywhere. When the time comes, I'll step in and calm the chaos. Bai Yan immediately bows. The old ancestor is indeed wise. Red Blood Cave. Haha, Xiaohei, you rushed over from the inner valley, and didn't even warn me. You even gave me a pleasant surprise. Really? Qin Yu laughs loudly. At this moment, inside a palace in the northern region, Qin Yu, Hou Fei and Kuro are drinking wine. Kuro stretches out his wings, and uses his energy to sweep up the wine cup, then drains it in one gulp. Haha Fei, I heard that you're the second cave master. What's this? Back in the inner valley, we didn't decide who would be the top and who would be the bottom. How about I become the second cave master, and you become the third cave master? Kuro says to Hou Fei via sound transmission. Hou Fei, who is in the middle of drinking wine, immediately glares when he hears this. What the hell are you talking about? I always listen to what Master says. When Master told me to recognize Qin Yu as my big brother, I did. You want to suppress me, you little bird? Dream on. Hou Fei never dares to disobey Uncle Lan's words. You little bird, Master never told me to recognize you as my second brother. Hou Fei says proudly. Kuro is furious. Go away, you little monkey. What are you being so arrogant for? Uncle Lan didn't say who is the second brother, and who is the third brother. But he also didn't say that you should suppress me. Kuro is very arrogant, and refuses to lower his head. Qin Yu suddenly has a headache. When Kuro and Ho Fei were in the inner valley, they fought with each other, each wanting to suppress the other. However, Ho Fei is unruly, while Kuro is arrogant. Neither of them easily submits to the other. Kuro has followed Chinyu since he was young, so he naturally submits to Chinyu. Ho Fei also submits to Chinyu because of Uncle Lan's orders, in addition to the speed of Chinyu's improvement. However, Ho Fei and Kuro refuse to submit to each other. Forget it, don't quarrel. Who cares who's higher or lower, you're all the same. As for the second and third cave masters, they're just titles. Xiaohei, who told you to not be here at that time? Forget it, let's not make a fuss about this. Chinyu says helplessly. Humph. Kuro gives a cold snort. Ho Fei also fiercely stares at Kuro. Don't look at how Kuro and Ho Fei are fighting with each other in terms of status. However, they don't care about other things. The three of them once again drink and chat with each other. From their personal experiences to the wonders of their own techniques, they talk non-stop. The three brothers drink like this for 3 days and 3 nights. It's extremely delightful. A cultivator's lifespan is limitless. Drinking for 3 days is nothing. Chinyu looks around. 6 beautiful maids are respectfully waiting behind him. Chinyu waves his hand. All of you leave. Don't let anyone come in. Yes, cave master. The 6 handmaidens bowed in response, and respectfully retreated. Seeing the 6 maids leave, Chinyu waves his hand, and sets up a restrictive spell around them. Afterwards he says mysteriously to Xiaohei. Xiaohei, that guy Shahon has reached the peak of the early Dongshu stage. He's also a blood-red aquatic python. Yuanying has a lot of energy, enough for you to reach the late stage of Yuanying. Right now, because of your soul, you can only reach the middle stage of Yuanying. You'll have to wait until your soul makes a breakthrough. Chinyu waves his hand. A purple Yuanying floats out. It's because of Shahon. Kuro doesn't refuse and directly accepts it. Kuro has been with Chinyu since he was a baby eagle. He and Chinyu are almost inseparable. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. Kuro also knows that at the moment Chinyu has reached the late stage of Lu Xing. Right at this moment, 3 cave masters, something bad has happened. Yezhong's voice rises from outside. Chinyu knows Yezhong well, so he definitely won't act like this unless it's a serious matter. He immediately waves his hand to remove the restrictive spell. Yezhong hurriedly rushes in from outside and says respectfully, 3 cave masters. Rumors have started to spread in the Blood-Red Ridge that the position of cave master is not legitimate, and that the 9 Spirits Hall has directly appointed that old turtle Qing Xian as the new cave master. These rumors have made the whole Blood-Red Ridge anxious. Our Red Blood Cave's prestige has been greatly affected. There are even many formidable Zuyoists who simply won't listen to our orders. The 3 brothers Chinyu, Ho Fei and Kuro's faces immediately change color. However, Chinyu doesn't know that this is a test given to him by the 3 brothers. Chapter 136. Old Turtle Qing Xian? Yezhong, tell me, what's that guy's background? In my opinion, this rumor must have something to do with that old turtle Qing Xian. Ho Fei suddenly throws his cup to the ground. His eyes glitter with golden light as he says furiously. Ho Fei can't take it anymore. He is the second master of the Red Blood Cave. So how can he possibly let other people take his position? Chinyu and Kuro also look at Yezhong and listen to his answer. Chinyu really doesn't know anything about this old turtle Qing Xian. Yezhong says respectfully, Cave masters, this old turtle Qing Xian was also an extraordinary expert. In the past, Shahon, and that old turtle Qing Xian, had a big fight over who should be in charge of these 8 million li of water. In the end, Shahon won by a small margin. But that old turtle Qing Xian's true form is an old turtle, so his defense is extremely high, so Shahon couldn't kill him. Now that Shahon is dead, that old turtle Qing Xian will definitely make a comeback. Chinyu slightly nods. Ho Fei, however, blinks twice and says with a strange laugh, Kaka, an old turtle who couldn't even defeat Shahon wants to be cave master? What a joke! I'll smash his turtle shell with a blow of my stick. Humph humph. Chinyu's eyes are also filled with coldness. Zhuangzhong, as far as I know, quite a few Zuyoists in the Blood-Red Cave's territory don't think highly of me now that I've occupied the cave master's position, right? Qin Yu is indeed not very famous in the 8 million li of water area of the Red Blood Cave, so ordinary people naturally don't revere him too much. Yezhong says respectfully. Those people don't know how formidable Cave Master is. If they did, they definitely wouldn't have dared to act like that. They don't know. Qin Yu says smilingly. That old turtle Qing Xian unexpectedly wants to fight for the Cave Master's position. Could it be he doesn't know that in the Xiuzhen world, people will die if they aren't powerful enough? That's good too. I can use this opportunity to establish my power. Qin Yu waved his hand and said, All right, there's no need to tell me about those small fries. Tell me when that old turtle Qing Xian appears. You can leave now. Yes, Cave Master. Yezhong said respectfully and then left. Kuro did not say anything from the beginning to the end, because he heard Yezhong say that the old turtle Qing Xian was close to Shahon in terms of strength, so he did not care. At this moment Qin Yu, Hou Fei, and Kuro felt that ordinary people were no longer a threat to them. Now their biggest enemy was the remaining 8 purple demon flood dragons in the 9th Spirits Hall. Xiaohei, you go into closed-door training and start refining the yuanying. Our lives will be much more exciting in the coming days. If you are weak, you won't be qualified to participate in that event. Qin Yu had a faint smile on the corner of his mouth, and a fierce light flashed through his eyes. The 3 brothers of the Qin clan, no matter if it was the General Qin Feng or the current Emperor Qin Zheng, would not show any mercy when they decided to be ruthless. Qin Yu also had a plan for the future. No matter what, he had to consider the worst-case scenario. Now that he had considered the worst-case scenario, Qin Yu had nothing to be afraid of. Now he, Kuro, and Hou Fei were not weak. They were all persimmons that could be pinched at will. If you want to pinch us 3 brothers, you have to be careful of your hands being chopped off. Qin Yu looks outside the room. Qin Yu is standing in the air next to the rockery in the northern part of the Red Blood Cave. Qin Yu waves his hand, and a pavilion appears out of thin air. It is the Lei Mountain House built by Lei Wei. Qin Yu directly walks in the air and enters the Lei Mountain House. As soon as he enters, a huge pool appears before his eyes. Going around the pool, Qin Yu enters the living room on the first floor. Training hall. Looking at the training hall, there is a faint smile on the corners of Qin Yu's mouth. He recalls the past. At that time, in order to protect his father, he and Wu Xing perished together, and then was teleported to this place. It was in this training hall that he woke up. Suddenly, beautiful flowers appear in the living room. In the middle of the flowers lies a little kitten. Welcome, Master. Little Star says while swinging its tail. Qin Yu smiles. Little Star, do you feel lonely when I'm not here? Although Qin Yu knows that Little Star is an artificial intelligence from the books about civilization left behind by Lei Wei, he still can't help but treat Little Star as a living creature. Little Star blinks its eyes and says, Lonely? What do you mean by lonely? Qin Yu is slightly startled. Only now does he remember that Little Star is not a living creature and can't sense human emotions. He can't help but smile. Looking around, he sees the door of the storeroom. Seeing the storeroom, Qin Yu feels helpless. The storeroom is comparable to a training room. With such a large area, more than half of the storeroom is filled with top-grade crystals. Walking to the door of the storeroom, Qin Yu moves his mind, and the door opens automatically. Qin Yu looks inside. More than half of the storeroom is filled with all kinds of ores. There are at least tens of thousands of ores. And every piece is a top-grade crystal. Blue, crimson, green, gold, silver, black. The various crystals are flashing with an attractive light. Even Qin Yu can feel their surging auras. Lei Wei had to travel to countless places to collect so many treasures. End of B1C3, there are so many top-grade crystals. Even big forces like the Blue River Province and the Blue Dragon Temple don't have so many top-grade crystals. After all, they are top-grade crystals. With top-grade crystals, it means that they can be refined into top-grade spiritual weapons. However, Qin Yu can't take so many top-grade crystals. Master insisted on setting up a restriction, saying that I can only open it when I reach the Star Core stage. Now that I have reached the late stage of Lu Xing, I have to go through the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation to reach the star core stage. Qin Yu can't help but smile helplessly. Out of the storeroom, Qin Yu walks to the back. A pill refining room and a weapon refining room appear in front of him. When Qin Yu was in the wilderness, he refined his own spiritual weapons in this weapon refining room. However, when he killed Di Tong, Qin Yu's flaming sword was destroyed, and one of his flaming gloves was also destroyed. This time I'm going to refine a top-grade holy weapon. Qin Yu turns his hand, and 5 top-grade crystals appear in it. Where did this top-grade crystal stone come from? They are none other than the ones in the dead Di Tong's interspatial ring. Generally, treasures are kept in the treasure-storing palace by the Brothers of the 9 Spirits Hall. However, top-grade crystals are so precious that they all carry them with them. The flaming gloves need very few top-grade crystals. 2 of them are enough. As for the flaming sword, I'll just have to refine that spear again. Qin Yu won't waste them. Di Tong's spear is also a top-grade holy weapon, but Qin Yu won't take it out and use it openly. If he does so, won't he be telling others that he killed Di Tong? As soon as he steps into the weapon refining room, the metal door of the room closes automatically. Sitting with legs crossed on a hassock, Qin Yu points with one hand. A dark blue flame flies towards the 8 trigrams furnace in the middle of the room. The 8 trigrams furnace immediately blazes. At the same time, a spear has already flown above the 8 trigrams furnace. It is none other than a top-grade holy spear. Heaven Gate, 8 trigrams upright. Qin Yu shouts in a low voice. Several golden rays of light shoot out from his fingers and enter the holes on the sides of the 8 trigrams furnace. The corresponding talisman imprints immediately light up. Even the light inside the 8 trigrams furnace becomes much more dazzling. The star primordial flame is the solar primordial flame. The spear starts to melt slowly. At the same time, many of its impurities are also refined by the solar primordial flame. Its volume also continuously shrinks. 7 days later, Qin Yu has finally succeeded in forging his own holy weapon. A top-grade holy spear has been forged into a short sword. The name of the sword is still Flaming Sword. Qin Yu's forging method is obviously better than that of the 9 Spirits Hall. The spear has shrunk by more than half, and all of its impurities have been refined. At the moment, even though the flaming sword is also a top-grade holy weapon, it is even sharper. The surface of the flaming sword is covered with talisman imprints formed by the purple-gold liquid. The entire short sword is dark blue, and there are purple-gold imprints on the surface of the sword. The purple-gold liquid is indeed an excellent material for setting up talisman imprints. The flaming sword is much more powerful than Qin Yu expected. The materials used to forge a pair of flaming gloves are 2 top-grade crystals. The flaming gloves are extremely thin, sticking to the finger joints like a layer of skin. However, they are much more powerful than the flaming gloves, which were top-grade holy weapons in the past. After forging a holy weapon, Qin Yu reads a book quietly on the balcony of his study. Inside his body, he also practices unceasingly. On the balcony of the study on the 2nd floor of Lei Mountain House, Qin Yu is reclining on a soft chair. He is reading many secret books about the secrets of the Xiuzhen world left behind by Lei Wei. On this balcony, Qin Yu can see the guards patrolling in the distance. Cave Master. Some people are secretly fanning the flames in the Blood-Red Ridge. Many Zuyuyoists have begun to talk about you wantonly. Obviously they are very disdainful of you. Many Zuyuyoists even think that the old turtle Qing Xian should be the cave master. Yezhong says through his holy sense while standing outside Lei Mountain House. Qin Yu is reading an ancient book in his hand. He basically doesn't look at Yezhong. He says indifferently, "Don't worry about it. Just let me know when that old turtle Qing Xian shows up." The guardians are very anxious, but Qin Yu is as steady as Mount Tai. He is quietly reading an ancient book on the balcony. Looking at Lei Mountain House in front of him, Yezhong exclaims in admiration in his heart. "Cave Master, where did this pavilion come from?" It suddenly appeared. Even though the gate of Lei Mountain House is open, nobody can go in except for the 2nd and 3rd cave masters. It's really wonderful. Lei Mountain House can naturally tell who has come in. Apart from Qin Yu and the other 2 guardians, nobody else can go in. Days go by one after another. The several tens of thousands of Zooists in the Blood Red Ridge are also secretly discussing the new cave master. Moreover, old ancestor Qing Xian specially arranged people to spread rumors, so most Zooists don't think highly of this new cave master. At this moment, a white-clad man walks over to the gate of the Red Blood Cave. "Give this to your cave master." The white-clad man throws a jade slip to the gate guard, then says arrogantly, "Our old ancestor said that the Nine Spirits Hall has decreed that the new cave master should be our old ancestor. That Lu Xing or whatever, if he's sensible, he'll abdicate early. Otherwise, it won't be good if he gets into a fight and loses his life." After saying so, the white-clad man immediately turns around and leaves like a beam of light. The guard holding the jade slip is still in a daze. Only after a while does he wake up with a start. He is greatly alarmed. This is bad. That old ancestor Qing Xian has come to kill us. My brother was right. This old ancestor Qing Xian will definitely come to snatch the cave master's position. He's going to fight now. I wonder if the cave master can beat him. Even though the guard has heard that Qin Yu was able to defeat Guardian Tung Bai, he has not seen it with his own eyes. Moreover, old ancestor Qing Xian is even stronger than Guardian Tung Bai. In just a while, the jade slip is in Qin Yu's hands. Lying on a soft chair, Qin Yu is holding the ancient book in one hand and the jade slip in the other. After scanning it with his holy sense, Qin Yu bursts out laughing. A letter of challenge. This is the letter of challenge sent by old ancestor Qing Xian. That old ancestor Qing Xian believes himself to be an expert of the same generation as Shahon. He believes that since Qin Yu was a guardian under Shahon, his martial power is definitely inferior to Shahon's. Since he is inferior to Shahon, old ancestor Qing Xian is naturally confident that he can kill Qin Yu. Junior Lu Xing, I'm old ancestor Qing Xian. That year, I had some connections with your former cave master Shahon. Presumably you've heard about it. Back then, I wasn't paying attention and lost slightly. I've been cultivating bitterly for several hundred years. Originally, I was going to fight Shahon again in the near future. Who would have thought that he would die just like that? He's lucky. This is also good. Junior, if you give up the cave master's position to me, I won't bother to bicker with you. If you don't, I'll burn you to death with my true fire and scatter your soul. Take your time to think about it. I'm not afraid to tell you that the Nine Spirits Hall has appointed me as cave master. I didn't lie to you. Besides, I don't feel like lying to a junior like you. 3 days later, I'll go to the Red Blood Cave. Whether you live or die will depend on your choice at that time. Old ancestor Qing Xian left a message. Looking at this jade slip, Qin Yu cannot help bursting out laughing. A dark blue flame shoots out from Qin Yu's hand and burns the jade slip directly into ashes. You're overestimating yourself. Qin Yu makes this judgment casually. He is not angry at all. He continues to read the ancient book in his hand. 3 days later, several thousand Zooists are gathered in a grandiose procession. At the top, 4 people are carrying a chair. An old man is lying on the chair. His long hair, which looks like blue fire, is fluttering in the wind. Old ancestor Qing Xian's forefinger and middle finger are pinching his long eyebrows to comb them. His slightly closed eyes occasionally shoot out cold rays of light. A large number of Zooists in the Blood Red Ridge are watching from afar. All of the older Zooists have heard of old ancestor Qing Xian's name and know how formidable he is. In the past, Qin Yu was a guardian under Shahon, so how can he possibly be a match for old ancestor Qing Xian, who is at the same level as Shahon? The large group of Zooists is standing in midair in front of the Red Blood Cave. Afterwards, they all turn around and look at old ancestor Qing Xian's troops. The leader of this group of Zooists is none other than the white-clad man Bai Yan. Greetings, old ancestor. Bai Yan gets down on one knee and says respectfully, Greetings, old ancestor. The large group of nearly 1,000 Zooists behind Bai Yan all get down on one knee and say, many of them followed Bai Yan to the Blood Red Ridge to bewitch other Zooists. So now many Zooists in the Blood Red Ridge are standing on old ancestor Qing Xian's side. Lying on the chair, old ancestor Qing Xian opens his eyes and takes a glance at the Red Blood Cave. Junior Lu Xing. Why haven't you come to greet your old ancestor yet? Old ancestor Qing Xian's loud and clear voice immediately resounds through the entire Red Blood Cave. The great power contained in that voice causes the guards of the Red Blood Cave to change color greatly, and the Zooists under old ancestor Qing Xian's command to become arrogant. Hearing that voice, Qin Yu, who is quietly reading a book in Lei Mountain House, cannot help bursting into laughter. Oh, that old turtle has come. Let's play with him. Qin Yu puts down his book and disappears from Lei Mountain House with a movement of his body. Chapter 137. Surrounded by attendants, old ancestor Qing Xian is indeed very arrogant. Even when the guardians of the Red Blood Cave come out one by one, old ancestor Qing Xian is still lying on the recliner. He doesn't even look at the guardians and looks down on them. Qing Xian, you're too arrogant in my Red Blood Cave. You've gone too far. Teng Bai says coldly. Old ancestor Qing Xian glances at Teng Bai and smiles evilly like an owl. Hehe, so it's you, Horned Dragon. Teng Bai, if you follow me, I'll make you the deputy cave master of my cave. What do you think? Old ancestor Qing Xian knows Teng Bai's power, so of course he wants to rope him in. Ouch, old turtle Qing Xian. You're trying to rope in Boss Teng at the gate of the Red Blood Cave. You're really looking down on my cave master. You're really. Yan Qing curls her lips with a very disdainful look. Old ancestor Qing Xian's face is gloomy, and his eyes emit a cold light. Yan Qing hurriedly hugs Teng Bai's arm and says, Boss Teng, that old turtle is scaring me. I'm so scared. You have to protect me. Yan Qing appears to be very frightened, but in fact, there is a trace of ridicule in her eyes. Seeing Yan Qing's performance, Teng Bai can't help but smile. Bitch, I'll definitely seal your yuanying, peel off your snake skin and let you die in pain. Old ancestor Qing Xian shouts furiously. Old ancestor Qing Xian hated it the most when people called him Old Turtle Qing Xian, or Old Turtle. He liked it when people called him Old Ancestor. However, Yan Qing had insulted him again and again. How could he not be angry? Ouch, I'm so scared. Yan Qing says coquettishly again. Old ancestor Qing Xian is so angry that his eyebrows tremble. Old Turtle, don't waste time here. You want to fight for the cave master position with your little ability? Don't overestimate yourself. Wu Feng and Wu Tong also look at old ancestor Qing Xian with a cold smile. They are not afraid at all. The three Black Turtle brothers say nothing. The three Black Turtle brothers are the black turtles among turtles, and are relatively rare. On the other hand, old ancestor Qing Xian was just an ordinary old turtle. He had only reached his current realm by cultivating for a long time. In fact, the three turtle brothers also looked down on old ancestor Qing Xian. All of you prepare to be burned to death by my true fire. Let your souls scatter. Patriarch Qing Xian pointed at the 9 protectors and reprimanded them angrily. At this moment, Patriarch Qing Xian was really angry. He had originally come with a large entourage. He had imagined that the protectors of the Red Blood Cave would tremble in fear when they saw him. However, he was wrong. These protectors all looked down on him. Teng Bai, Yan Qing, Shi Yan, Ba Ming and his 2 brothers, Wu Feng and his 2 brothers, and Ye Zhong. The 9 protectors looked at old ancestor Qing Xian without fear. Others might not know Qin Yu's true strength, but these protectors knew. Moreover, not to mention Qin Yu, even 2nd Cave Master Ho Fei and 3rd Cave Master Kuro are terrifyingly powerful. Oh, if you want to burn my protectors to death with your true fire, why don't you ask if I, the Cave Master, am willing? Patriarch Qing Xian, you're meddling too much. Qin Yu's voice resounds through an area of several hundred li in radius. The 50,000 to 60,000 Zooists of the Blood-Red Ridge have all gathered here to watch. Numerous Zooists raise their heads to look at the Red Blood Cave. Dressed in a black robe, Qin Yu takes 2 steps to arrive in front of the 9 protectors and stands face to face with old ancestor Qing Xian. Qin Yu is different from when he was a protector. At the moment, there is a faint smile on his face all the time, and he is very calm. Qin Yu's entire body is as straight as a javelin. His black robe flutters even though there is no wind. As soon as old ancestor Qing Xian sees Qin Yu, he slightly frowns. This junior doesn't seem to be a mediocre person. It looks like it won't be easy to defeat him. Seeing Qin Yu, old ancestor Qing Xian loses all confidence. But then he thinks again. Humph. This junior was only a protector under Shahon at that time, so he's definitely weaker than Shahon. Even if Shahon himself came here, he wouldn't be able to do anything to me, let alone a junior who is weaker than Shahon. Thinking of this, old ancestor Qing Xian immediately feels much more relaxed. Junior, have you seen the jade slip I sent someone to deliver to you? Do you want to obediently abdicate and hand over the red blood cave to me, or resist stubbornly to the end, so that I can personally kill you and scatter your soul? Old ancestor Qing Xian has an overbearing appearance. Qing Yu frowns. Qing Xian, you're overestimating yourself. Qing Yu says. At this moment, Qing Yu already feels that old ancestor Qing Xian in front of him is overestimating himself too much. Humph. Old ancestor Qing Xian suddenly gives a cold humph. His body moves and his long blue hair flutters wantonly like sharp arrows. Old ancestor Qing Xian himself flies out of the lounge chair and stands in midair, looking coldly at Qin Yu. His eyes glowed with a green light. Junior, I've given you face time and time again, but you still think you're the cave master, and are very arrogant in front of me. Fine, then don't blame me for being ruthless. Old ancestor Qing Xian says with an evil smile. His words contain killing intent. Qin Yu gives a smile and looks at old ancestor Qing Xian. Being stared at by Qin Yu, old ancestor Qing Xian becomes furious. Junior, could it be you don't know that in this underwater Shuyao world, strength is everything? Do you think you're the cave master just because those protectors acknowledge you? Fine, I'll let you know what true strength is. Qin Yu raises his eyebrows. Oh, Qing Xian, are you finally going to make your move? Qin Yu looks disdainfully at those Zioists below old ancestor Qing Xian, then looks at him again. Could it be you're scared? Old ancestor Qing Xian suddenly has a hint of satisfaction in his heart. What he has been looking forward to for a long time is for the cave master to bow down to him of his own accord. This is even more honorable than killing Qin Yu and becoming the cave master. No, I've been waiting for you to make your move for a long time. It's just that you're too noisy. Qin Yu clenches his fists. Unexpectedly, a series of crackling sounds are heard. The faces of some Yuanying stage Zioists change color greatly at once, including old ancestor Qing Xian. Only now do these experts realize that Qin Yu's fists are not making sounds of muscles and bones at all. Instead, it is the sound of the air inside his fists exploding, because he suddenly clenches his fists. How powerful and fast must he be to do that? It should be known that when ordinary people clench their fists, even ordinary experts, they cannot make the air inside their fists explode because the air flows very fast. Only when the speed of clenching a fist exceeds the speed of the airflow will such a scene occur. The principle is the same as the air explosion caused by a fast punch of an expert, only it is more difficult. Very good. You've got some power indeed. Too bad you can't even withstand a single blow from me. Old ancestor Qing Xian's long eyebrows flutter. In an instant, an octagonal hammer appears in his hand. It is a high-grade holy heavy hammer. A tortoise armor also appears on his body. A series of cheers is heard from below at once. Those Zioists under old ancestor Qing Xian's command seem to have seen the scene of him killing Qin Yu. Big brother, let's get rid of this old tortoise. An evil voice rises from the red blood cave. An ape shakes his head and walks out with a black stick on his shoulder. He naturally gives off an aura similar to that of an ancient ferocious beast. Old ancestor Qing Xian's face changes color greatly at once. Qing Xian, didn't you want to burn me to death with your fire? Qin Yu suddenly gives a smile. The onlookers see Qin Yu instantly turn into a golden beam of light. Just a beam of light. Old ancestor Qing Xian opens his eyes wide in fright. He hurriedly swings his octagonal hammer. However, he suddenly stops moving. Qin Yu reappears in front of old ancestor Qing Xian. Qin Yu reaches out with his right hand and pierces old ancestor Qing Xian's throat with a dark green short sword. Old ancestor, Bai Yin shouts in fright. Bai Yin knows that old ancestor has reached the early Dongshu stage, so theoretically, His soul should be able to fuse with Yuanying and escape. However, Bai Yin simply does not know that Qin Yu has fused a beam of stellar fire into old ancestor Qing Xian's body through the flaming sword. Before old ancestor Qing Xian's nascent soul could escape, the star primordial fire wrapped around it. "Spare my life, spare my life," old ancestor Qing Xian shouts in fright. "Didn't you want to burn me to death with your fire? I want to let you have a taste of that feeling." Qin Yu says through his spiritual awareness. Qin Yu controls his fire so well that even though the fire is inside old ancestor Qing Xian's body, it does not harm him. Old ancestor Qing Xian's soul finally dissipates with a miserable cry. Qin Yu directly puts the Yuanying into his interspatial ring. Qin Yu can't help but smile. He got another early Dongxi stage Yuanying so easily. Puff! Qin Yu pulls out his sword. Blood spurts out from old ancestor Qing Xian's throat, but Qin Yu instantly teleports several meters away. Bang! Old ancestor Qing Xian's body falls to the ground and floats in the sea. Dumbstruck, the several thousand Zioists under old ancestor Qing Xian's command, the 5,000 guards and 9 guardians of Qin Yu's Red Blood Cave, and the packed 50,000 to 60,000 Zioists of the Blood Red Ridge, are all dumbstruck when they see this scene. How is this possible? Bai Yin says to himself in disbelief. The other Zioists, however, are so shocked that they can't utter a word. An early Dongxi stage expert was unable to make even a single move against Qin Yu. In just one move, his throat was pierced through. The most shocking thing is Qin Yu's speed. Except for Hou Fei, none of the experts present has seen Qin Yu move at all. In the past, all the experts thought that power and energy were the most important. But now they find that speed has reached a terrifying level, and an extremely frightening offensive power. Everybody. Now that Qin Yu has spoken, none of the Zioists dare to say anything. They are all listening carefully to what Qin Yu is going to say. In the world of Zioists, the experts are revered the most. Qin Yu is so powerful. Who doesn't dare to respect him? Today Qing Xian wants to seize my position as cave master, but... Qin Yu's voice turns cold. If you want to seize the position of cave master, you have to have enough power. People like Qing Xian want to seize the position without enough power? That's just courting death. Qin Yu's cold eyes sweep over everybody below him. I don't want a place like Qing Xian Ridge to appear in the Red Blood Cave Ridge again. I want everybody within a radius of 8 million li to understand that there is only one master in this area. And that is me, the Red Blood Cave. Anyone who disobeys me will have his soul destroyed. Domineering. No resistance is allowed. There are nearly 100 Yuanying stage experts in the Red Blood Cave Ridge. Even though 40 to 50 of them are not guardians, they still live in the Red Blood Cave Ridge, and will listen to the orders of the Red Blood Cave at critical moments. Qing Xian Ridge seems to have 20 to 30 Yuanying stage experts. Qin Yu suddenly walks in front of Bai Yin. Let me ask you, are you going to follow Qing Xian's old path? You have to understand that if you do so, you'll end up just like old ancestor Qing Xian. With that, Qin Yu turns around and goes back to the Red Blood Cave. Bai Yin is a smart man. Of course he understands Qin Yu's words. In the beginning, Qin Yu said that he doesn't want a place like Qing Xian Ridge that keeps giving orders. If there is such a place, it will be destroyed. Now that he has specifically said this to him, the leader of Qing Xian Ridge, Bai Yin knows that Qin Yu has given him 2 options. Those who obey me will prosper. Those who oppose me will die. Bai Yin clenches his teeth and makes up his mind. On the way back to Lei Mountain House after entering the Red Blood Cave, Qin Yu and Hou Fei walk side by side. Haha, big brother, this is so satisfying. A sword through the throat. Hou Fei is extremely excited. He is bloodthirsty and tyrannical. Whenever he sees someone he dislikes, he wants to smash that person to death with his stick. If it were not for Qin Yu's previous order, given how arrogant Qing Xian is, he would have already been killed by Hou Fei. After hearing Hou Fei's words, Qin Yu is somewhat helpless. Qin Yu shows such a tyrannical attitude this time, but he doesn't want to. Qin Yu cares about his own people. He is too lazy to care about what others want to do. However, this is the world of cultivation. Qin Yu understands that if his attitude is soft, he won't be a threat. Those Zioists will look down on him instead. This is the law of the jungle. The strong are respected. He must conquer everything with a tyrannical attitude, and let those people understand that he is the master of this 8 million li radius area of water. Nobody will dare to resist him. Those who resist him will have their souls scattered and turned into ashes. Only by doing this can he completely control the entire 8 million li radius area of water. As time goes by, the result has also confirmed that Qin Yu's approach is correct. The population of the Blood-Red Ridge has increased rapidly. Not only have the people of the Qingxian Ridge moved here, even some other Yuanying stage Zuyoists have been scared by Qin Yu and have moved here. Some Yuanying Zuyoists have even come to ask to be guardians. In just a month, the entire Blood-Red Ridge has become as united as an iron plate. It completely obeys the orders of the Red Blood Cave. It can be said that the rallying power of the Red Blood Cave is much stronger than that of Shahon when he was alive. This is because the current cave master Qin Yu is even more powerful. However, this news spreads very fast. The Great Shell Cave, which is close to the Red Blood Cave, also receives the news very soon. Chapter 138. In the Silver Claw Cave, one of the 8 caves under the command of the 9 Spirits Hall. At the moment, the Silver Claw Cave is being held with great fanfare. All kinds of delicacies and good wine have been prepared. Beautiful dancers are also performing in the main hall. Di Jian, Di Qing and Di Luan are sitting high up in the main hall, enjoying the song and dance. The journey from the 9 Spirits Hall to the Red Blood Cave is really too long, so the 3 experts cannot travel all the time. They have to take a rest at each cave, every 1 or 2 months. Your Majesties, I propose a toast to you. A woman in silver armor raises her cup and says, the master of the Silver Claw Cave is a woman who has also reached the early Dongshu stage. Yu Qian gives people a valiant and formidable feeling, which is different from the seductive looks of Yan Qing and Shi Yan of the Red Blood Cave. Yu Qian's aura is very fierce and fierce. Perhaps it is because of this fierceness that Yu Qian became the master of the waters within a radius of 9 million li around the Silver Claw Cave. Qianer, don't stand on ceremony. Di Qing says smilingly. Di Qing, Di Jian and Di Luan still raise their cups and drink with Yu Qian. Di Qing's current attitude towards Yu Qian is very good, but if he wants to kill her, he will definitely not hesitate at all. For Xiaotianists, beauty is not very attractive. After 3 rounds of drinking, Di Jian and the other 2 are in a very good mood. They are enjoying the song and dance while drinking. Suddenly, Di Qing frowns. He flips his right hand, and a transmitter appears in it. His face changes color as soon as he makes a sweep with his holy sense. Di Jian and Di Luan both look at Di Qing. Second brother, what happened? Di Luan hurriedly asks. Seeing Di Qing's expression, he knows that something important has happened. Below, seeing the expressions of the 3 majesties, Yu Qian immediately waves her hand at those dancers. Those dancers immediately stop dancing and go to one side of the main hall. Yu Qian also stops talking, so as not to disturb the 3 majesties. Di Qing first waves his hand and sets up restrictive spells around the 3 of them. He does not want Yu Qian and the others to know what happened to them. He says with a sigh, 7th brother, you guessed right. That old turtle Qingxian is really dead. Di Luan's and Di Jian's faces change color. Second brother, that Lu Xing or something is very suspicious. Perhaps he is the murderer of 8th brother. Di Luan's eyes glitter with coldness. These days, they have been pondering about who the murderer is. Di Jian suddenly stands up. Let's go. We'll set out immediately to capture that Lu Xing. It doesn't matter if he is the murderer or not. Let's arrest him first. Wait, I'm not done yet, Di Qing said calmly. Di Jian and Di Luan both look at Di Qing again. Second brother, is there something else? Di Luan asks doubtfully. Di Qing nodded and said, the Great Shell Cave Master sent a message saying that Lu Xing only used 1 move to kill old turtle Qingxian. He only used 1 move to kill an expert of the early stage of Dongshu realm. Such strength is simply terrifying. 1 move. Di Luan is shocked. This time, Di Jian is at the late Dongshu stage, Di Qing is at the middle Dongshu stage, and Di Luan is the weakest, only at the early Dongshu stage. Even among the 9 majesties of the 9 spirits hall, Diluan's strength is at the bottom. He killed an expert of the early Dongshu stage with one move. That's his strength. Diluan frowns. Looks like he has enough power to kill 8th brother. Dijian's face is expressionless, but his eyes are filled with fierce killing intent. I don't care how powerful he is. As long as he's the murderer of 8th brother, he definitely won't be able to escape from my hands. Dijian's entire body looks like a demon. Di Qing slowly shakes his head, saying that Lu Xing didn't kill old ancestor Qing Xian with one move by relying on powerful energy, but his astonishing speed. Speed? Dijian and Diluan both become doubtful. Di Qing says with a nod, yes, it's speed. According to the information that came out, that Lu Xing's speed is really frightening. The Great Shell Cave Master guessed that Lu Xing must have used his speed to teleport, so that old ancestor Qing Xian could not predict his trajectory, and finally had his throat pierced through by a sword. Even an expert of the early Dongshu stage couldn't resist one move. What a fast speed. No wonder he's called Lu Xing, Dijian praises. Di Qing says with a nod. Now I think that Cave Master Lu Xing is very likely to be the murderer. He's the most suspicious. Diluan, however, slightly shakes his head, saying, second brother, don't make an arbitrary judgment now. If you were the murderer who killed 8th brother in Shahon, and seized one of the 9 swords, what would you do? Could it be that you'd show your strength by openly becoming a cave master? Di Qing is stupefied. After a while he says self-mockingly, 7th brother, I'm indeed not as smart as you. You're right. If I had obtained such a precious treasure as one of the 9 swords, I'd definitely have hidden myself in an unknown place and trained hard. When my power was comparable to the experts of the Blue Dragon Temple, I'd have taken out the Jade Sword and opened the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion together. That's right. Compared to the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion, what is a Red Blood Cave? Diluan says smilingly. Di Qing says with a nod. I understand what you mean. That Lu Xing has now become the cave master of the Red Blood Cave. Since he's doing this openly, he can't possibly be the murderer, right? No. Diluan shakes his head. Di Qing and Dijian both look at Diluan. Diluan says, I don't know what kind of person that Lu Xing is. What if he guesses our intention and deliberately doesn't hide himself, but instead openly reveals himself? Therefore, that Lu Xing is still a suspect. Diluan's words make Di Qing and Dijian somewhat confused. 7th brother, you helped Lu Xing get rid of suspicion a while ago, but now you say he's a suspect. What do you actually mean? Di Qing keeps asking. Diluan says smilingly, 2nd brother, 6th brother, I'm saying this to make you understand. Lu Xing is a suspect, but that's all. Don't treat him as the murderer completely, because once you do, you'll very likely miss the real murderer. Haha, 7th brother, I understand. Lu Xing is a suspect, so we can't just focus on him. We have to investigate other people too, right? Di Qing understands at once. Diluan says with a nod. That's right. We have to pay attention to all the suspects. We can't just focus on one person. All the suspects are probably the murderers of 8th brother. If we can't determine who killed him, then we have to kill all the suspects. Diluan's eyes turn cold. He would rather kill 1,000 by mistake than miss a single suspect. All right, then let's set out at once. We have to investigate as soon as possible. The longer we delay, the harder it will be. Diluan immediately stands up and says. Dijian and Di Qing also nod, and immediately lift the restrictive spells around them. Your Majesties, the rooms have been arranged. Do you want to take a rest? Yu Qian says smilingly. Di Qing shakes his head and says, Qianer, we have to keep going. After saying so, Di Qing, Dijian and Diluan directly fly out of the main hall extremely fast, and disappear from Yu Qian's sight in a while. Only now does Yu Qian let out a sigh of relief. Now that the Majesties of the 9 Spirits Hall are here, she does not dare to be presumptuous at all. Xiao Erlaner, come here. Yu Qian says to the 2 dancers not far from her. Her eyes radiate blazing light. Asterisk 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 in the Red Blood Cave. Now the number of guardians of the Red Blood Cave has reached 16. Originally, Even more Yuanying stage experts wanted to become guardians. But firstly, there are limited courtyards in the eastern region, and secondly, there are only so many guardians. If there are too many guardians, there will be too few guardians for each of them. Moreover, those Yuanying stage experts living in the Red Blood Cave must obey the orders of the Red Blood Cave at important moments, even if they are not guardians. On the spacious balcony of the second floor of Lei Mountain House, this balcony is 6 to 7 m long and 3 to 4 m wide. Big brother, you're still reading? It's really boring. Today I reprimanded those guardians in the main hall. Kaka, it was really cool. But they also deserved a scolding. They only know how to enjoy themselves instead of cultivating. Ho Fei also sits down next to Qingyu. Qingyu closes the ancient book and looks at Ho Fei with a smile. Fei, you're in charge of the Red Blood Cave these days. I see that you're very excited to be in charge of people. Back then, you wanted to occupy the mountain and be the boss. Don't you like to be in charge? From today onwards, I'll let you manage the Red Blood Cave. Xiao Hei and I won't be in charge of it. Unless there's something important, you can look for me and Xiao Hei. What do you think? Qingyu has been alone since he was young and is used to being alone. Xiao Hei is arrogant and doesn't like to manage a large group of people. Ho Fei, on the other hand, likes to be surrounded by a large group of subordinates. He likes the feeling of being a leader. Haha, great. That's great. Anyway, there are 3 seats in the main hall. You can go whenever you want. But I have to go every time there's a meeting. Ho Fei excitedly cackled and scratched his ears and cheeks. Qingyu gives a smile. In a place like the Xiuyao world, the most important thing is a person's deterrence. The cave master's role is to give orders, and not to give orders to others every day. But it's naturally much better to have someone in charge. Fei, this black stick of yours is made of a strange material. What grade is it actually? Qingyu asks Ho Fei. Ho Fei is startled. After a while, he says with a shake of his head. I don't know either. But I feel that this stick of mine is at least not inferior to a top-grade holy weapon. Since I was young, my master gave me the black stick. I've been carrying it with me all this time, and it has never let me down. Qingyu nods his head. It's no wonder that Qingyu doesn't ask. Qingyu has seen low-grade holy weapons, middle-grade holy weapons, high-grade holy weapons, and even top-grade holy weapons. But he has never seen a weapon like Ho Fei's black stick. Judging from its appearance alone, it's a black stick. But this black stick is definitely not inferior to a top-grade holy weapon. You said that this black stick was given to you by Uncle Lan? Qingyu suddenly remembers what Ho Fei said just now. Ho Fei says with a nod. I've been following Uncle Lan since I was young, so of course the things I have on me were given to me by Uncle Lan. If it wasn't Uncle Lan, who would have given it to me? Right, do you know how powerful Uncle Lan is? When I was in the ravine, I sensed that Uncle Lan's power was unfathomable. As his disciple, you should know that, right? Qingyu has already made a decision in his mind. Now he's just probing again. Ho Fei says with a glare. Big brother, don't doubt Master's power. Master's strength is not something you can imagine. Even for me, when I entered the berserk state, I felt that I was too strong in that state. However, I was knocked unconscious by a single slap from Master. Qinyu's heart skips a beat. Knocked unconscious by a slap. Qingyu is naturally clear about Ho Fei's power. Even if he doesn't enter the berserk state, the mythological beast Ho Fei is already extremely powerful. Once he enters the berserk state, he's terrifying. Qingyu even thinks that Ho Fei in that state is comparable to Di Long of the Nine Spirits Hall. But Ho Fei in that state was knocked unconscious by a slap from Uncle Lan. Right, after you were knocked unconscious, did you feel any discomfort when you woke up? Qingyu asks again. Ho Fei says with a laugh. No, Master is much stronger than me. He knocked me unconscious with a slap and didn't hurt me in the slightest. Who knows how much stronger he is compared to me? Ho Fei can't help but exclaim in admiration. This is also the reason why Ho Fei doesn't dare to complain when Uncle Lan orders him to do something. He's so powerful. Qingyu is overjoyed. When Qingyu was thinking about the worst-case scenario of killing Di Tong, he thought of the Nine Spirits Hall hunting them down. When Qingyu attacked, he thought of Uncle Lan. a real expert whom Qinyu can't see through no matter how hard he tries. Qinyu has a feeling that Uncle Lan is very powerful, outrageously so. At least Qinyu can't even sense his true strength. That's why Qinyu dared to kill Di Tong, and dared to occupy the cave with the three brothers. If the Nine Spirits Hall really hunts them down in the end, the three brothers will fight to their heart's content. Given their abilities, they will naturally be able to shake the Nine Spirits Hall. Even if they fail, they can escape to Uncle Lan's place or ask Uncle Lan for help. In terms of speed, Qinyu has full confidence in it. The next day, Qinyu is saying goodbye to Kuro and Ho Fei. According to Qinyu's calculations, there will still be several months before the people of the Nine Spirits Hall arrive. However, Qinyu still decides to go back to the valley in advance. The three brothers say goodbye to each other reluctantly. Xiaohei, here are 2 top-grade crystals. That all of yours is only a high-grade holy weapon. If you think it's not enough, I have another one here. Before leaving, Qinyu hands 2 crystals to Kuro. One is enough. Kuro takes one of them, but doesn't take the other one. Qinyu doesn't say anything else, and takes the other one back. There is no need for too much delay between them. On one side, Ho Fei is displeased. Big brother, you gave the bird top-grade crystals, why not me? Ho Fei is displeased. Your black stick is no weaker than a top-grade holy weapon. If you want top-grade crystals, give it to me. Qinyu says with a smile. Ho Fei immediately hugs the black stick in his hand, and fuses it into his body. Alright, let's not talk anymore. I'm leaving now. You guys explain to the protectors that I'm in seclusion. Got it? Qinyu looks at the 2 brothers with a smile. Kuro and Ho Fei nods. The dark cyan flaming sword appears under Qinyu's feet. The golden star power runs through Qinyu and the flaming sword. In an instant, Qinyu's entire body turns into a golden light and disappears into the distance. His speed is astonishing. Chapter 139. The inner valley is less than 1,000,000 li away from the Blood-Red Ridge. Qinyu's current speed is nearly 10 times faster than in the past, so he arrives at the inner valley in just one day. Even those purple demon aquatic dragons in the Nine Spirits Hall cannot imagine such a speed. Late-stage Lu Xing's ability to compete with late-stage Dongshu Zhexianists is based on speed and the ability to condense attacks. In other words, late-stage Lu Xing's speed is at least faster than late-stage Dongshu Zhexianists. From this, one can imagine how fast Qinyu is. Qinyu flies to the entrance of the inner valley. At first glance, he can see that there is a continuous mountain range here. Outsiders simply cannot see that there is an inner valley hidden here. Big brother Lu Xing, no, big brother Qinyu. A purple-clothed girl, who looks to be in her teens, comes out from among the underwater plants. As soon as she sees Qinyu, she shouts excitedly. Qinyu turns his head and looks. He cannot help laughing. Little Yanzi, why did you come out of the valley? The valley is stuffy, so I went out for a stroll. Yanzi says while pouting her small mouth. The purple-colored fish scale between her eyebrows is shining. Her long purple hair reaches her hips and flutters wantonly. Yanzi's eyes suddenly brighten. She says, Big brother Qinyu, let's go. Come with me to the inner valley. If Sister Li Er knows that you have come back, she will be very happy. Hurry up, don't be so slow. After saying this, Yanzi pulls Qinyu's hand and rushes directly into the mountain wall. Qinyu and Yanzi's figures disappear into the mountain wall. After entering the inner valley, Qinyu looks at the familiar plants and scenery. His eyes cannot help but brighten. In the past, he also lived in this inner valley for 3 whole years. After returning to the inner valley, Qinyu feels as if he has escaped from the bloodshed outside the valley and regained his peace of mind. Wang. Along with the sound of zither strings, the familiar zither music rises again. Standing outside the bamboo house, Qinyu cannot help but close his eyes and listen quietly. A faint smile appears on the corners of his mouth. Time passed quickly with the sound of the zither. The music stopped, and Qinyu opened his eyes. Only now does Qinyu notice that Yanzi has already entered the bamboo hut. At this moment, various Zuyuyoists gather around him. These Zuyuyoists are all from the ravine, so they are very familiar with Qinyu, so they all greet him. Lu Xing. Oh right, it's big brother Chinyu. The fatty with the turtle shell on his back ran over excitedly and shouted. As soon as he sees them, Chinyu says smilingly, "Oh, it's Fatty, skinny in white armor. Faye hasn't been here recently, so nobody wants to beat you. Have you been living a comfortable life?" Chinyu says smilingly to the Zuyuyoists in front of him. The fatty with the turtle shell on his back shook his head and said proudly, "Of course it's comfortable. I can sleep for 3 days and 3 nights without anyone disturbing me. When I'm free, I play Go with Skinny and the others. The Go that Uncle Lon taught me is really interesting. It's just that." The fatty frowned. "Sometimes I miss Boss Ho a lot." White Armor, who is holding 2 daggers, also looks pensive. It seems he also misses Ho Fei a bit. "You're really asking for a spanking," Chinyu says jokingly. "All right, you guys keep playing. I still have something to discuss with Uncle Lon." Chinyu says goodbye to them, then directly enters the bamboo hut. After entering the bamboo hut, Chinyu immediately sees Uncle Lon, who is quietly sipping tea in the courtyard. "Chinyu, you've come." Uncle Lon slightly raises his head and says smilingly. Chinyu nods, then walks up to Uncle Lon. Just like in the bamboo hut, Chinyu sits down. Uncle Lon flips his hand and a teacup appears. He then pours a cup of tea for Chinyu. Chinyu deeply smells the fragrance of the tea. "Uncle Lon, this is your 100-leaf orchid tea, right?" Chinyu had drunk this 100-leaf orchid tea several times in the past. "It seems like you still remember," Uncle Lon says with a smile. "Okay, Chinyu, tell me, why are you looking for Uncle Lon? Don't tell me you're just looking for Uncle Lon to drink tea. It's possible that you're here to see Li Air." Uncle Lon jokes. At the mention of Li Air, Chinyu turns his head to look. He can't help but focus his energy on his ears. Chinyu can hear the conversation between Miss Lear and Yanzi. "Yanzi, what kind of flower is this? Where did it come from? It's so beautiful. Why haven't I seen it before?" Miss Lear's voice sounds. "Hee hee, there's an isolated island not far from the sea. I went up to pick it. There are many flowers there. However, this flower is a land plant and not suitable to grow in the sea. I hid it in my storage bracelet before bringing it to the bottom of the sea." "Kid, what are you listening to?" Uncle Lan's voice suddenly sounds in Chinyu's ears. "Ah." Chinyu awakens and sees Uncle Lon with a faint smile. Right, Uncle Lon. Didn't you just ask me why I came back?" "I came back this time because I need your help with a very important matter," Uncle Lon snappily says. "Change the subject." Chinyu can only pretend to be stupid and laugh dryly. "I can guess why you're looking for me. Did you get into trouble outside? The enemy is too strong. You don't have the confidence to deal with them. So you want Uncle Lan's help, right?" Uncle Lon looks at Chinyu and says with a smile. Chinyu suddenly feels that at this moment, Uncle Lan's gaze seems to penetrate his heart. Expert, he really is an expert. Chinyu exclaims in his heart. Chinyu doesn't lie and says honestly, "I caused some trouble. I killed a purple demon aquatic dragon. But it's not dangerous now. The enemy still doesn't know I'm the murderer. But just in case, you also know Faye's temper. When the time comes for a real fight, he won't stop. You don't want to see me and Faye being beaten to death by the enemy, do you? You killed a purple demon aquatic dragon? No, that's not your misfortune." Uncle Lon stares at Chinyu with his wise eyes. "Your misfortune is that you took that jade sword. But it's hard to say whether it's a blessing or a curse." Chinyu is dumbfounded. "Uncle Lon, you..." Chinyu is dumbfounded. Could it be that Uncle Lon can predict the future? He only told Xiaohei and Ho Fei that he got the jade sword. And Xiaohei and Ho Fei didn't tell Uncle Lon. How did Uncle Lon know? This is really too terrifying. You want to fool me with those thoughts of yours? That jade sword is a bit troublesome. But you are qualified to take it, Uncle Lon says after thinking for a moment. Chinyu listens carefully. The more he interacts with Uncle Lon, the more Chinyu finds that Uncle Lon is unfathomable. At the same time, Chinyu also feels from the bottom of his heart that Uncle Lon really treats him very well. He also believes that everything Uncle Lon says and does is good for him. Mr. Lu Xing. "Oh, Mr. Chinyu, you've come back?" Miss Li dressed in cyan, and with her long hair tied up with a hairband, comes out of the room. Yanzi is also by her side. Miss Li looks very happy to see Qin Yu. After being separated for so long, Qin Yu's eyes brighten when he sees Miss Li again. He immediately says, Miss Li, I've come back this time to discuss some matters with Uncle Lan. Uncle Lan looks at Qin Yu's expression at this moment. His expression changes several times, and his eyes turn slightly red. Miss Li also notices the changes in Uncle Lan's expression at this moment. Immediately, the calm and natural Miss Li panics. She hurriedly says, Uncle Lan, what's wrong with you? Outsiders don't know about Uncle Lan's matters, but Li does. Qin Yu also looks at Uncle Lan in astonishment. During the 3 years he was in this bamboo house, once when Qin Yu and Uncle Lan were discussing about him, Uncle Lan also had such an expression. In these 3 years, Qin Yu has only seen it once. Qin Yu, I'll give you a word of advice. Uncle Lan calms down again and looks at Qin Yu calmly. Qin Yu looks at Uncle Lan. Uncle Lan looks at Qin Yu and says resolutely, no matter what happens in the future, you have to stay true to your heart. In order to survive in this world, there are many times when you have to endure silently. But sometimes if you endure too much, something might happen that you will regret for the rest of your life. Remember, sometimes even if you die, you have to stay true to your heart. Uncle Lan. Miss Li looks at Uncle Lan and cries out in alarm. Uncle Lan waves his hand and says, Li, accompany Qin Yu and have a chat. Don't worry about me. After saying this, Uncle Lan directly stretches out his hand. A stone immediately floats into Uncle Lan's hand. At the same time, rays of purple, blue and green light start to shine from the stone. In just an instant, the stone turns into a transmission talisman. Qin Yu, I know why you have come to find me. If you are in danger, use your spiritual sense to transmit the message directly to this transmission talisman. I will naturally know. Uncle Lan tosses the transmission talisman that he refined in an instant to Qin Yu. Qin Yu is very puzzled. If they wanted to communicate, wouldn't it be fine for him to use the transmission talisman to send it to Uncle Lan's transmission talisman? Why did Uncle Lan specially give him a transmission talisman and even let him use his spiritual sense to transmit it? Naturally, Uncle Lan understands why. After receiving the transmission talisman, Qin Yu feels that this transmission talisman is special. It is different from the objects in the past. This transmission talisman doesn't have any aura of energy. Uncle Lan. When Qin Yu raises his head, he discovers that Uncle Lan has already left the courtyard and returned to his room. Miss Li looks solemnly at Qin Yu and says, Since Uncle Lan has given this to you, you must be careful. Qin Yu, remember Uncle Lan's advice. Don't forget it. After saying this, Miss Li lets out a sigh. It is unknown what she is thinking. Qin Yu is very puzzled in his heart, but he still firmly engraved that advice in the bottom of his heart. Miss Li, you actually called me Qin Yu just now. That's really rare. In the past, it seems that you always called me Mr. Lu Xing or Mr. Qin Yu. Qin Yu says with a smile. Li shakes her head and says with a smile. Qin Yu, in fact, I feel that there is always a barrier between me and any Zionist. It is as if we are not people of the same world. So for the most part, I keep a respectful distance from them. Okay, Qin Yu, in the future, don't call me Miss Li. Just call me Li. Qin Yu's heart is shaken. Didn't Li's words mean that there wasn't any estrangement between them? Li, are you satisfied now? Qin Yu does not reveal what he is thinking at all. Miss Li gives a smile, then looks at Uncle Lan's room. Qin Yu, do you know? In my clan, Uncle Lan is absolutely a genius. His power has already reached. How can I talk to you about this? Right. Are you going to leave right away after talking with Uncle Lan? No hurry. I'm going to stay here for several months. Qin Yu has calculated clearly that even if Di Tong dies, and the people of the Nine Spirits Hall come here, given the speed of Dongshu stage experts, it will probably take them a year to reach the Red Blood Cave. Miss Li is slightly delighted. Qin Yu, I'm going back first. Let's talk later. Qin Yu nods and watches Miss Li go back to her room with a smile. Qin Yu always feels that Uncle Lan's change just now has caused Li's attitude towards him to change as well. Li and Uncle Lan always talk about clans. What kind of clan is that? Qin Yu ponders for a long time in his mind, without coming up with an answer. However, at the moment Qin Yu is in a very good mood, because he feels that his relationship with Miss Lear seems to have become a bit closer. There are 8 caves under the command of the 9 Spirits Hall. Among them, the one next to the Red Blood Cave is the Great Shell Cave. The cave master of the Great Shell Cave is named Fu Hao. At the moment, Fu Hao is lying on a chair carved from a huge block of smooth jade with a bulging belly. 2 ladies in waiting are massaging his shoulders, and another 2 are massaging his legs. 2 ladies in waiting are standing on either side of him, and feeding him some rare fruits. Among the 8 caves, Fu Hao is the greediest and the fattest one. However, he is not very powerful, and is simply no match for Shahon. He is only at the late stage of yuanying, but his cave master throne is as stable as Mount Tai. Alright, all of you can leave, Fu Hao says in a shrill voice that sounds like that of a eunuch. The 6 ladies in waiting immediately bow then leave Fu Hao's residence one by one. Fu Hao himself strokes his white and tender chin, and starts to ponder with a deep frown. Although he is fat, his skin is extremely white and tender, and his eyes are as lively as a baby's. Based on the information from both sides, 8th Majesty should really be dead. Now 2nd Majesty, 6th Majesty and 7th Majesty have joined hands, and rushed to the Red Blood Cave. Then 8th Majesty's death should have something to do with the Red Blood Cave. Given 8th Majesty's status, why would he go to the Red Blood Cave, which is closest to the Qianlong continent? Fu Hao ponders for a while. Could there be some kind of precious treasure? No matter how smart Fu Hao is, he simply does not know about the existence of the 9 swords, so naturally he cannot think of this. Suddenly, Fu Hao. A red light flashes, and a person's silhouette appears in front of Fu Hao. The newcomer is thin but as straight as a pole. He is wearing a blood-red robe, and has an ice-cold expression on his face. Looking at the shape of his face, even if he is smiling, he still gives people a feeling of coldness. As soon as Fu Hao sees this person, his eyes brighten and his face becomes full of joy. He bows and says, "Greetings, Lord Tung. May I know why you have come to see me? As long as I know, I'll definitely tell you everything." Fu Hao smiles wholeheartedly. Together with his white and tender chubby face, he looks really cute. The 3 Majesties of the 9 Spirits Hall should have sent you a message. Am I right? This Lord Tung says smilingly. His face is smiling but his eyes are as cold as the stars. Chapter 140. Fu Hao is startled inwardly. This Blue Dragon Temple is indeed very formidable. It seems they've also planted many spies in the 9 Spirits Hall. Lord Tung is really formidable to have guessed that the 3rd Majesties were communicating with me. Thinking quickly, Fu Hao immediately puts on an extremely shocked expression and says in disbelief, "Lord Tung, how did you know?" With a grim expression, Lord Tung continues, "Don't ask me how I know. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to give me an answer." "Yes, please ask, Lord Tung," Fu Hao says respectfully. Lord Tung says coldly, "Who are the 3 Majesties who just left the 9 Spirits Hall?" "They're the 2nd Majesties, the 6th Majesties, and the 7th Majesties," Fu Hao says without hesitation. Lord Tung asks again, "Which cave are the 3 Majesties going to this time?" "The Red Blood Cave," Fu Hao answers extremely quickly. However, he curses inwardly. This horned dragon definitely knows who the 3 Majesties are, and which cave they're going to. Now it's asking me instead. It's obviously testing whether I'm lying or not. "Then do you know why the 3 Majesties are going to the Red Blood Cave?" This time Lord Tung stares into Fu Hao's eyes. Fu Hao's quick-witted baby-like eyes remain unchanged. He immediately says helplessly, "Lord Tung, I don't know. My Great Shell Cave is too weak. If the 2nd Majesties hadn't communicated with me several times, I still wouldn't have known about this." Lord Tung nods. The death of the 8th Majesties is an extremely confidential matter. Even the 9 Spirits Hall is very secretive about it. Lord Tung deduced that the 8th Majesties had died based on information from various sources, so it is very normal that Fu Hao doesn't know about it. Even though Lord Tung doesn't care, his face still darkens. Seeing Lord Tung's face darken, Fu Hao appears to be somewhat alarmed. Then let me ask you, what did the three majesties communicate with you about? Lord Tung immediately asks. Fu Hao says in a panic. There's a lot of things. The second majesties have communicated with me several times. What do I need to say? Lord Tung's face changes color. He shouts. What did he communicate with me about? Tell me everything clearly. Don't leave anything out. Yes. Fu Hao says hurriedly at once. At the beginning, second prince asked me about what happened to the Red Blood Cave. Then I told him that Shahon was killed, and a Dharma protector called Lu Xing became the new cave master. Lord Tung nodded expressionlessly. Fu Hao takes a look at Lord Tung's expression, then hurriedly continues. Later on, His Highness ordered me to send a message to that old turtle Qing Xian, saying that he was going to appoint him as the new cave master of the Blood Red Cave. Lord Tung just listens and stares at Fu Hao. Later on, the old turtle Qing Xian went to seize the position, but was killed by the new cave master, Lu Xing, with a single sword strike. That Lu Xing is really too terrifying. I think he should be at the middle Dongxu stage. Alas, I really don't understand why an expert, who could kill the old turtle Qing Xian with a single blow, was willing to be a Dharma protector in the past. It's really strange. Fu Hao starts to talk boastfully. Don't talk nonsense. I didn't ask you anything else. Just tell me the message Di Qing sent to you. Lord Ting suddenly shouts coldly. Yes, yes. Fu Hao hurriedly responds. Later on, when the three majesties learned about this matter, they seemed to pay a lot of attention to this cave master Lu Xing. They even ordered me to order people to infiltrate the Blood Red Ridge and investigate everything related to that Lu Xing. Fu Hao suddenly pauses and stops talking. Lord Tung's eyes flash with coldness. That's all, sir. Fu Hao says in panic. Lord Tung's sharp eyes slightly pause, then he says, Oh, that's all. There were 2 or 3 other times, but they were all about Cave Master Lu Xing. But I didn't know anything about him. Of course I couldn't explain clearly or didn't know anything about him. It's not worth mentioning. Fu Hao immediately adds an explanation. Lord Ting nods and ponders for a while. Fu Hao. A smile suddenly appears on his face. Remember, since you've served us, we naturally won't treat you unfairly. I believe that before long, the 3 majesties of the 9 Spirits Hall will definitely go to the Great Shell Cave to rest. At that time, they'll definitely ask you a lot of questions. Whatever they ask or say, send it to me through the transmission token. Yes, Lord Tung. Fu Hao says respectfully with a smile. Suddenly, Fu Hao's eyes brighten. He stares at a floating crystal above Lord Tung's palm. A top-grade crystal? Fu Hao's breathing becomes rapid. Even Lord Tung of the 9 Spirits Hall only had 5 top-grade crystals in his interspatial ring. It is easy to imagine how rare and precious top-grade crystals are. It is very difficult for cave masters of the 8 caves, under the command of the 9 Spirits Hall, to obtain top-grade crystals. Yes, we're quite satisfied with your performance in the last 2 years. This top-grade crystal is your reward. Lord Tung waves his hand, and the top-grade crystal arrives in front of Fu Hao. Fu Hao receives the top-grade crystal and says hurriedly, Don't worry, Lord Tung. I'll definitely tell you everything I know. When the 3 princes come here in a while, Fu Hao will definitely inform Lord Tung of everything the 3 princes said and what they did. Hearing Fu Hao's last sentence, a rare faint smile appears on Lord Tung's face. Very good, you're a smart man. You'll definitely have a better future by serving us than by following the 9 Spirits Hall. I believe you understand what I mean? After saying so, Lord Tung rolls up his blood-red robe and leaves extremely fast in a flash. Lord Tung can come and go as he pleases in the Great Shell Cave without being affected at all. Therefore, Fu Hao's guards and restrictive spells are basically useless. One day after a month, Fu Hao, who is rolling around with a beauty on the bed, suddenly stops moving. Beauty, you can leave now. Fu Hao gives an order helplessly, then immediately puts on his clothes. When there is no one else in the room, a fat man is lying on the jade chair he used to lie on. This fat man is even fatter than Fu Hao, but is shorter. This short and fat man has a small mustache that looks like a sharp knife. Lord Lu, it's only been half a year and you've come to eat my treasure again. Seeing Lord Lu, Fu Hao's attitude is different from seeing Lord Tung. At the moment he is very relaxed, but his expression is bitter. The short and fat man strokes his mustache and says with a laugh, "This, your blood-red honey, is really delicious. There's nothing I can do about it. How about giving me another bowl?" Bowl? Fu Hao suddenly screams as if he has been slashed by a knife. "You unexpectedly said bowl. I only have 3 small jade bottles in total, and they're not even enough for a bowl," Fu Hao says angrily. However, his face suddenly turns pale. Lord Lu laughs evilly. "Haha, there are still 3 bottles left. Last time you told me you only had 1 bottle left. Humph humph, if you don't give me 2 bottles, don't think you'll have an easy time. Tell me, are you going to give them to me respectfully, or should I snatch all 3 bottles by force?" Both Fu Hao and Lord Lu are extremely fond of sweets. This blood-red honey is not only as delightful as liquor, but it is also so sweet that the 2 fatties are infatuated with it. 2 bottles? Just kill me. Fu Hao swears to death that he will not comply. After bargaining for a while, the helpless Fu Hao is finally forced to give 1.5 bottles of blood-red honey to Lord Lu in humiliation. Seeing Lord Lu's complacent appearance, Fu Hao's heart aches. Lord Lu opens the bottle cork and gently sniffs the scent of blood-red honey with an expression of great enjoyment. However, he says, "All right, let's get down to business. I don't think I need to say much. Tell me everything you know." Fu Hao feels helpless inside. Damn it, what's going on in the past 2 years? People from both the Blue Dragon Temple and the Blue River Province have come to find me. Could it be that I've become popular? But I've also gained a lot. In fact, Lord Tung and Lord Lu found Fu Hao in the past 2 years and asked him to work for them. Because he is intimidated by the formidable power of these 2 great experts, the pitiful Fu Hao has no choice but to work for them. Every time Lord Tung and Lord Lu come here, they do it secretly, so that no one will discover them. After talking for a while, Lord Lu also learns what he wants to know. However, Lord Lu is obviously a bit more stingy than Lord Tung. In the end, he only rewards Fu Hao with a high-grade holy weapon. Fu Hao cannot help cursing in his heart. Seeing Lord Lu leave, Fu Hao secretly lets out a sigh of relief. Luckily, I was quick-witted and said 3 bottles instead of 9. Fu Hao is very pleased with himself. Now that Fu Hao is sandwiched between 3 powers, he is really trembling with fear. But he has also gained a lot. Fu Hao does not know that in general, the Blue River Province, the Blue Dragon Temple, and the 9 Spirits Hall do not care about small powers at the level of the 8 major caves, and usually do not plant any spies in them either. For example, the Blue Dragon Temple only plants spies in the 9 Spirits Hall, and the Blue River Province at most. Even the 9 Spirits Hall does not care about the 8 major caves under its control. 2 years ago, the Blue Dragon Temple and the Blue River Province discovered that 8th Majesty of the 9 Spirits Hall had left the 9 Spirits Hall. Even though they declared that he was doing closed-door training, the Blue Dragon Temple and the Blue River Province have been planting spies in the 9 Spirits Hall for a long time. However, Ditong's whereabouts are mysterious, so it is very difficult for the Blue Dragon Temple and the Blue River Province to find out what he wants to do. However, the Blue Dragon Temple and the Blue River Province do not pay too much attention to it. Even though a Majesty of the 9 Spirits Hall, who has left secretly to do something, is worth tracking down, it is not worth paying too much attention to. But then they obtain a piece of internal information from the 9 Spirits Hall. The 8 Majesties of the 9 Spirits Hall are extremely angry outside the place where the soul jade slips are kept. In addition, 3 Majesties immediately left the 9 Spirits Hall extremely fast, so these 2 pieces of information lead them to conclude that 8th Majesty is dead. Only now does the Blue Dragon Temple and the Blue River Province realize that the matter of 8th Majesty secretly leaving the 9 Spirits Hall is not simple. They immediately begin to pay attention to this matter, and even dispatch 2 super experts, Lord Tung and Lord Lu, to do it. Lord Tung and Lord Lu coincidentally find Fu Hao. The 3 superpowers are competing with each other, and the 8 caves under the command of the 9 Spirits Hall are also fighting both openly and covertly. The Great Shell Cave, which is closest to the Red Blood Cave, planted quite a few spies in the Red Blood Cave 100 years ago. So the one who knows the affairs of the Red Blood Cave the best is undoubtedly the cave master of the Great Shell Cave. Naturally, now Fu Hao has received the attention of the three superpowers, because Di Qing often keeps in touch with him through his transmitter. Lord Tung and Lord Lu usually also keep in touch through their transmitters, but this time they know that the three majesties are about to arrive at the Great Shell Cave, which means that they will arrive at the Red Blood Cave. Lord Tung and Lord Lu naturally have to spend a lot of money on Fu Hao. The Blue Dragon Temple deserves to be ranked number 1 among the three superpowers, and the Lord of the Blue Dragon Temple deserves to be called the number 1 expert of the overseas Xiozhen world, because he is much more generous than the people of the Blue River Province. Times Qin Yu, to be honest, you know almost nothing about Go. You seem to have taught me this chess, right? Look, General. Li Er moves her horse. Qin Yu is immediately dumbfounded. Even though his old general can move a bit more, Qin Yu sees that Li Er's other horse has already been set up, so he simply cannot move. If he moves, he will die. Li Er, you've won again. Qin Yu reluctantly concedes defeat. In fact, he knows a thing or two about Go. According to Grandpa Lien, his level on the Qianlong continent can be considered average. However, when comparing Qin Yu and Li Er always makes Qin Yu admit defeat every time after 100 moves. Qin Yu also feels helpless inside. Can you blame me for this? Every time I'm always defeated after 100 moves. The gap between us is too big. Perhaps after 100 moves, she will still give me face. When Qin Yu and Li Er play Go, he discovers that sometimes one of Li Er's pieces can only be used after 100 moves. Qin Yu feels fear in his heart. This Li Er's calculating ability is really too strong. Could it be that she has calculated so many moves? He is forced to admit defeat. However, Qin Yu is a man of the Qin clan, and does not like to admit defeat. Therefore, he proposes to play Xiangqi. Li Er does not understand Xiangqi at all. Qin Yu is so despicable that he does not even clearly explain many of the rules of Xiangqi. It is always Li Er making the next move, and Qin Yu making the next move. Then, Qin Yu wins the first game. After one game, Li Er barely understands the rules of Xiangqi. In the second game, Qin Yu clearly feels that Li Er's strength has improved by leaps and bounds. Relying on his many years of savings, and the many Go manuals he has read in Misty Villa, he finally manages to win the second game. However, from the third game onwards, Qin Yu has never won a single game. His dignity as a man is gone. Qin Yu thinks that he is very smart. Even his father Qin Yu would not be able to beat him so easily in Xiangqi. However, Li Er is simply very relaxed. Every time after the game ends, Qin Yu finds that Li Er's layout is very rigorous. Qin Yu, don't be too discouraged. Actually, your strength. Qin Yu immediately looks at Li Er. It is really bad. Qin Yu cannot help but feel bitter. In fact, Li Er wants to say that Qin Yu is very bad at Xiangqi. In the end, she is a little merciful. Seeing Qin Yu's appearance, Li Er immediately says like a teacher, "If you are weak, you should learn well. In a while, I will play a game with Uncle Lon. You have to watch carefully." For more than half a year, Qin Yu often plays Go with Li Er, and often admits defeat. "Okay," Qin Yu says with a smile. In reality, he does not care too much about winning or losing Go. Qin Yu likes Li Er's wise and far-sighted appearance when she plays Go. Only like this can he feel at peace. Suddenly, Qin Yu becomes serious. "Li Er, there is something I need to tell you." "What is it?" Li Er says with a smile. "I am preparing to leave tomorrow. I have to return to the Red Blood Cave." Qin Yu should have left long ago, but he has been delaying it. Only now does Qin Yu understand that the people from the Nine Spirits Hall could come at any time in the next month or two. He has to go back. Li Er is startled. She has played Go with Qin Yu every day for the past half a year. For Qin Yu to leave now, she really does not want him to leave. "Then when you are done with your business, you have to come visit me often. When you go back, you have to carefully study your Go skills." Li Er says with a smile. Qin Yu nods. "Definitely," Qin Yu says with absolute certainty. Chapter 141. At the entrance of the ravine, Uncle Lan, Li Er, Yen Zi and the other Zuyoists in the ravine are all bidding farewell to Qingyu. This time, Qingyu has spent more than half a year in the ravine, so Qingyu once again feels that the heat flow from his Lu Xing's tears has increased by 2 to 3 times. Last time in the ravine it was like this. After leaving the ravine, it returned to normal. This time, Qingyu has been listening to Li Er's zither frequently for more than half a year, so his mental state has improved a lot. His soul has become even more solid and has reached the peak of the early Dongshu stage. It can break through again at any time. You don't have to see me off, guys. There aren't many things to deal with in the Red Blood Cave, so I'll come to see you all when I'm done. Anyway, the ravine is relatively close to the Red Blood Cave. Qingyu says smilingly to everybody. Only at Qingyu's current level, alas, he dares to say that it is not very far from here. It's not very far. When I have nothing to do, I'll come to see you. You have to study your chess skills well. Next time, don't let me defeat you so easily. Li Er says smilingly. For Li Er, given her miraculous flying escaping technique, it is indeed very easy for her to cross a distance of 1 million li. As soon as Qingyu hears the word chess skills, he cannot help having a headache. However, he still has a big smile on his face. Of course, Li Er. Actually, it's not that my chess skills are too bad. It's just that yours are too abnormal. Li Er immediately becomes somewhat angry. However, she is only angry out of embarrassment. During this period of time, Qingyu has often made fun of Li Er, so Li Er is not very angry. Instead, she looks both embarrassed and angry, which makes Qingyu like her very much. Xiaoyu, Uncle Lan says. Ever since he came back half a year ago and had a talk with Uncle Lan, Uncle Lan's attitude towards Qingyu had changed completely after that inexplicable change of heart. He did not address Qingyu as Qingyu. Instead, he addressed him as little Yu like an elder. Naturally, Qingyu did not have any objections to this. Remember the message token I gave you, and the advice I gave you? Uncle Lan's expression was somewhat serious as he said this. Then he laughed. Don't worry about it so much. Do your best in the outside world. The inner valley is peaceful and quiet, but it's not suitable for a greenhorn like you. Qingyu nodded firmly. Uncle Lan, I'll remember that. Big brother Qingyu, next time you come, you have to bring gifts for Yanzi and elder sister Jean. Most importantly, you have to bring gifts for elder sister Li Er. Yanzi said laughingly on one side. Qingyu nodded, then looked at the other people in the inner valley. Qingyu's line of sight paused on Li Er for a bit longer. You don't have to see me off. Goodbye. After saying so, Qingyu immediately rode the flaming sword and rushed towards the Red Blood Cave like a beam of light. Those Zuyoists returned to the inner valley one by one. Seeing Qingyu leave, Li Er looked a bit disappointed. Elder sister Li Er, are you reluctant to part with him? Yanzi joked on one side. Xiao Jin also joked about Li Er. Li Er immediately returned to her usual self. Humph, you two girls are actually joking about me. Qingyu has left, so there's no one to play chess with me. Fine, you two will do. Li Er waved her hand. Yanzi and Xiao Jin were unexpectedly unable to move. Li Er directly walked back to the inner valley, while Yanzi and Xiao Jin automatically floated behind Li Er. If Qingyu had seen this move, he would have been stupefied. Is this still the power of a Jin Dan stage Zionist? Elder sister Li Er, please be magnanimous. We were wrong. We don't know how to play chess. It's really too complicated and gives us a headache. Yanzi was unable to move her hands and feet, so she could only talk non-stop. Xiao Jin, who suffered the same fate, also kept begging for mercy. If you don't know how to play chess, I can teach you. It was Qingyu who taught me chess. Now I'm even better than him. Li Er giggled, completely ignoring Yanzi and Xiao Jin's begging for mercy. At the mouth of the valley, at the moment, only Uncle Lan was standing at the mouth of the valley. Li Er and the others have all returned to the valley. Hearing Li Er and Yanzi's conversation, a faint smile appeared on Uncle Lan's face. Uncle Lan looked in the direction in which Qingyu disappeared, and mumbled to himself. Was it right or wrong for me to let Li Er and Xiaoyu be together? Was it right or wrong for me to live like this instead of dying together with her? If I was given another chance, Uncle Lon sighed in a low voice, perhaps I would have chosen another path, even if that path was a dead end. Everyone chooses their own path. I can't force Xiao Yu to choose which path he wants to take. After saying this, Uncle Lan's figure turned into nothingness. In the next instant he was inside the bamboo house. This was the legendary teleportation. Inside the blood-red cave. Standing outside the entrance of the cave, leading to the underground secret rooms, Qin Yu's complexion slightly changed. He immediately said to the patrolling guards in the distance, "You guys come here." Hearing Qin Yu's order, the patrolling guards immediately rushed over. They immediately knelt down on one knee and said, "Cave Master, tell me, when were these secret rooms rebuilt? Why did they become like this?" Qin Yu shouts at the leader of the patrolling guards. There is even a hint of anger in Qin Yu's voice. The squad leader immediately said in fear, "About half a year ago, Second Cave Master said that the underground secret rooms were in a mess because of the great battle back then. So he ordered the guards to reconstruct the underground secret rooms." Seeing Qin Yu's gloomy face, the leader of the guards says again, "Cave Master, these secret rooms have always been in a mess. Perhaps Second Master didn't like them, so he ordered his subordinates to rebuild them." Qin Yu feels very helpless in his heart. This was the battle between Shahon and Ditong. An expert can infer some problems from the traces left behind by the battle. At first Qin Yu wanted to slightly change the traces left behind by the battle, so as to lead the people of the Nine Spirits Hall to misjudge the battle in his favor. But now, because of the reconstruction, the ground has been flattened again and new secret rooms have been built. All traces of the past have disappeared. Forget it. You can go now. Qin Yu says helplessly while waving his hand. We'll take our leave. Those guards hurriedly leave respectfully. Qin Yu has a bad feeling, because these traces of the battle have disappeared. If the people of the Nine Spirits Hall come here to check, and find that the traces of the battle have disappeared, they will definitely get angry. It will be difficult to deal with them. Without the traces of the battle, the people of the Nine Spirits Hall will definitely interrogate the guardians and guards of the Red Blood Cave. Perhaps they will get some information that will be detrimental to him. Those guards and guardians should know what to say and what not to say. Qin Yu can only hope in this way. He does not dare to tell those guards directly what to say and what not to say. After all, if he said it directly, it would be equivalent to leaving something that could be used against him. Qin Yu suddenly gives a smile. Why should I care so much? I hope the Nine Spirits Hall won't go too far. Otherwise, if they really provoke me, us three brothers will have no choice but to kill to our heart's content. Qin Yu turns around and leaves the rockery, heading for his own Lei Mountain house. Since he has nothing to do, it is not bad to read books in Lei Mountain house. In the Great Shell Cave, the fair and plump Fu Hao bows with a sincere smile, saying with a bow, "Majesties, I've already prepared a place to stay. Would you like to rest for a night before continuing your journey? I'm very close to the Red Blood Cave." Diluan frowns. Di Qing immediately says smilingly to Fu Hao, "Fu Hao, I'm very satisfied with your answer. All right, we appreciate your kindness. We have something important to do, so we won't rest." After saying so, Diluan, Di Qing and Di Jian immediately leave the Great Shell Cave. Watching the three majesties leave, a transmitter appears in Fu Hao's hand. After a slight selection in his mind, he inputted the conversation he had with the three majesties using his holy sense, and sent it to Lord Tung and Lord Lu. Ha! It's not bad for one person to do business with two people. But, who is that Lu Xing? He appeared so mysteriously, and both Eighth Majesty and Shahon are dead. If their deaths have something to do with this Lu Xing, then this Lu Xing is a dangerous person. I can't afford to provoke him. I can't afford to provoke him. Fu Hao sighs in his heart, then waddles back to his own place. Without the three majesties in the cave, Fu Hao becomes even more unrestrained and wantonly enjoys his life. In the Red Blood Cave, three big men, wearing purple robes appear outside the gate of the Red Blood Cave. They are none other than Di Jian, Di Qing and Di Luan. The three of them simply arrive at the gate of the Red Blood Cave, without notifying the Red Blood Cave. They look at the gate of the Red Blood Cave with faint cold smiles on the corners of their mouths. Their murderous auras become even more terrifying. Who are you? The guard at the gate of the Red Blood Cave is no longer as domineering as before. The murderous auras of the three big men in front of him terrify him, and his question shows that he is already afraid of them. Tell your cave master Lu Xing to come see me. Di Qing shouts coldly. The guard's face changes color. He says at once, you three should be experts. But the cave master of the Red Blood Cave is someone you can meet whenever you want. Moreover, you've gone a bit too far by telling him to come see you in person. Di Luan looks at the guard. In the past, he would praise this guard's loyalty to the cave master, but now that they are in the Red Blood Cave, the three majesties feel even more pain and hatred in their hearts. This is because their brothers' deaths have something to do with this Red Blood Cave. Get lost! Di Luan shouts coldly and throws a kick. The guard wants to dodge, but his vision is blurred, and he is sent flying by the kick directly. Haha! This 8 million li of water area is my Red Blood Cave's domain. The three of you even dared to be so arrogant at the gate of my Red Blood Cave. You're really too arrogant. Qin Yu, who is dressed in a black robe, appears at the gate of the Red Blood Cave. As soon as those guards see Qin Yu appear, they hurriedly bow and say, Cave Master. The eyes of the three Di Luan's group brighten. They all look at Qin Yu. You're the Cave Master? Di Luan asks. Qin Yu says with a nod. Yes, I'm the Red Blood Cave's Cave Master. The three of you have extraordinary bearing and extremely high power, but you've really gone too far by being so arrogant at the gate of my Red Blood Cave. You should know that the Red Blood Cave belongs to the Nine Spirits Hall. My Red Blood Cave is easy to bully, but the Nine Majesties are not. Even Di Jian has a faint smile on his face now. The three Majesties of the Nine Spirits Hall are right in front of him, but Lu Xing does not know them. How can the three Di Luan's group not find this funny? How could I not know that you're the three Majesties of the Nine Spirits Hall? That purple robe is your distinguishing feature. Qin Yu thinks to himself. He is only pretending not to know. Qin Yu shouts loudly. Sirs, if you have something to say, just say it. I don't have time to waste on you. Di Luan takes out an identity card from his bosom. The Nine Demons' black identity card. Qin Yu's face changes color. He says with a slight stammer. You are, Di Qing says with a cold face. That's right, we're the three Majesties of the Nine Spirits Hall. Didn't you want the Nine Spirits Hall to make trouble for us? Di Qing, Di Luan and Di Jian all look at Qin Yu, waiting to see Qin Yu make a fool of himself. Qin Yu says with an embarrassed expression. Majesties, I'm Qin Yu, also known as Lu Xing. I've just become Cave Master not long ago, so I'm not familiar with the Nine Majesties. I hope you can understand. Qin Yu does not want to fight the people of the Nine Spirits Hall head-on at the moment, so his attitude is naturally somewhat respectful. Seeing Qin Yu's embarrassed and frightened appearance, Di Luan says with a cold laugh. All right, don't talk nonsense. Bring the guardians of your cave, the captain of the guards and the vice masters to the main hall. I have something important to ask you. Qin Yu's heart is shaken. The three Majesties of the Nine Spirits Hall unexpectedly want to summon everybody as soon as they arrive. Looks like they have come with ill intentions. Majesties, please wait for a moment in the main hall. The guardians, the captain of the guards and my second and third brothers will all arrive at once. After saying so, Qin Yu immediately shouts an order to the guards around him. Guards, listen up. Send my order to the guardians, the captain of the guards, and the second and third masters. Quickly gather at the main hall. Yes. The several hundred guards in the surroundings kneel down on one knee at the same time, and say respectfully. Afterwards, these guards immediately run to transmit the order. Second and third masters? Di Luan frowns. Qin Yu explains smilingly. Majesties, they are my second and third brothers. We have a very good relationship, so we're neck and neck. We should imitate the Majesties of the Nine Spirits Hall, and appoint second and third masters instead of vice masters. Hearing Qin Yu's explanation, Di Jian and the other two brothers' attitudes towards Qin Yu slightly change. They have a very good relationship with each other, so their attitude towards Qin Yu is a bit better. However, as soon as they think that their eighth brother might have something to do with the man in front of them, the slight bit of good impression they had of Qin Yu disappears again. Diluan says carelessly, "Cave Master Qin Yu, what kind of technique have you been practicing? Why is it that not only is your aura not leaking out, you are even absorbing the aura of the surroundings? Why don't you stop practicing, and let us see what level that Overlord Qin Yu has reached?" Qin Yu says helplessly, "Majesties, once I start practicing this technique, it will take root in my dantian and circulate all the time. It won't stop circulating unless I'm killed." Qin Yu's meaning is very clear. You want me to stop circulating the northern underworld so that you can see my power? No way, Diluan says with a nod. Oh right, Cave Master Qin Yu. I heard you killed that old turtle Qing Xian with only one sword move. He was at the early Dongshu stage close to Shahon. Looks like Cave Master Qin Yu's power has long surpassed Shahon's. Then why were you willing to protect Shahon? Diluan stares into Qin Yu's eyes, waiting for Qin Yu's answer. Qin Yu is stupefied. Diluan's eyes flash with coldness. The air between the three majesties and Qin Yu seems to freeze at once. Chapter 142. Qin Yu is more powerful than Shahon, but he is willing to serve as a guardian of the Red Blood Cave and become Shahon's subordinate. This inexplicable reason naturally makes the three majesties suspicious of Qin Yu. They even wonder whether Qin Yu is from the Blue Dragon Temple or from Blue River Province. They suspect that Qin Yu has come here for the Nine Swords treasure. Why is Cave Master Qin Yu mute? Diluan looks at Qin Yu with a cold smile. Di Qing and Di Jian also stare at Qin Yu, seemingly intending to capture Qin Yu immediately if Qin Yu answers incorrectly. Qin Yu lets out a sigh. Majesties, do you really have to ask such a simple question? Can't you see it with your wisdom? Qin Yu's words stupefy the three Diluan brothers. Three majesties, I don't have a great reputation in this area of water. If I, an unknown person, want to seize the position of Cave Master directly, perhaps not many people will accept it. Qin Yu says to the three majesties in a helpless manner. Diluan, however, says, the strong are supreme. If you kill Shahon, who will dare to resist? Qin Yu says at once, Your Majesty, you said I killed Shahon. Is Shahon alone? No, he has so many guardians. If I want to kill him, I'll naturally have to kill quite a few expert guardians. By the time I become Cave Master, I'll have killed my own subordinates, won't I? Besides, I wasn't as powerful as I am now at that time. Oh, Diluan looks suspiciously at Qin Yu. Qin Yu says smilingly, If you ask carefully, Majesties, you'll know that I did closed-door training in the Red Blood Cave, and my power increased greatly. Before that, I wasn't strong enough to defeat Shahon. Only after this closed-door training did I have the power to defeat Shahon. Diluan's eyes flash with coldness. Did you enter closed-door training before or after Shahon's death? Diluan says with a stern expression. At this moment, Diluan, Di Jian and Di Qing all discover the problem in Qin Yu's words. If Qin Yu's power had improved before Shahon's death, then there would be no problem. However, if Qin Yu's strength increased after Shahon's death, then there was a possibility that he could kill Shahon. Before death, Qin Yu said with certainty. Are you sure? Diluan says with a cold smile. It's not good to lie. When the time comes, we can ask anyone. Everybody can keep watch. Qin Yu says smilingly. You can ask anyone. Shahon has been in closed-door training for most of the last 100 years. When everybody found out that Shahon was dead that day, they started to discuss who would be the new cave master. Then we had a competition, and I defeated Tung Bai. I know that you three majesties suspect that I killed Shahon and swallowed his yuanying. But if I killed Shahon, it would take me at least several days to swallow his yuanying. Tung Bai and I had a competition on the day Shahon died. Even if I killed Shahon, I wouldn't have had enough time to swallow his yuanying. Qin Yu looks smilingly at the three majesties. I believe you three majesties understand what I mean. Diluan, Di Jian and Di Qing exchange a look, saying nothing. Swallowing Yuanying at the early Dongshu stage indeed takes several days. But the place where the soul jade slips are kept has to be checked every day. Therefore, when they found out that Shahon was dead, it must have been within a day or even not long after Shahon's death. In such a short time, even if Qin Yu swallows non-stop, he cannot have increased his power by much. Suddenly Di Qing says, "Just now you said that Shahon has often been in closed-door training for the last 100 years, right?" Qin Yu is secretly delighted. In Qin Yu's opinion, although the death of 8th Majesty of the Nine Spirits Hall is important, it is also one of the Nine Spirits Hall's Nine Spirits Hall. However, one of the 9 swords was also very eye-catching. If he could divert the attention of these 3 majesties to the Jade Sword, the situation would be much better. Yes, many people here know about it. Moreover, Shahon strictly ordered that nobody is allowed to disturb him. Qin Yu answers honestly. Di Qing and Di Luan exchange a look. 7th brother. It seems that Shahon was trying to break the dust-removing spell in that black jade case. For an early Dongshu stage blood-red aquatic python, to break an immortal's dust-removing spell indeed needs 100 years of effort. That Shahon was really pitiful. He had to spend 100 years to break that spell. Di Qing says through holy sense communication. Di Qing and Di Luan remember clearly that when the 9 of them obtained that black jade case, it took them several months to succeed, even though they joined hands. 2nd brother, 6th brother. At that time, it's very possible that 8th brother went to snatch Shahon right after he broke the spell. The 2 of them probably had a big fight. As for their deaths, a 3rd person might have intervened. Di Luan tells Di Qing and Di Jian through holy sense communication. Di Qing and Di Jian both agree with this. But now we don't know whether 8th brother died in the Red Blood Cave, or was killed on the way back after snatching the Black Jade case and leaving the Red Blood Cave. At this moment, Di Luan also becomes suspicious. He is certain that there is a 3rd person hiding in the dark. When did this 3rd person get into action? Qin Yu, where did Shahon die? Di Luan shouts coldly at Qin Yu. Qin Yu says with a shake of his head, "Your Majesty, I also don't know where Shahon died because the battle took place in the underground secret rooms. However, when the Guardians arrived, there was no corpse in the underground secret rooms." "Not a single corpse?" Di Luan asks with a frown. "Yes, not a single corpse," Qin Yu says with certainty. "How can there be a corpse?" At that time, in order to destroy the corpse and erase the evidence, Qin Yu directly threw the corpse into his own space ring. Afterwards, he even directly refined it with his genuine flame. Di Luan and the other 2 become even more doubtful. Now they can be sure that the underground secret rooms were a battlefield, but why are there no corpses? Destroy the corpse and erase the evidence. The 3 brothers can only think of this. Take us to the underground secret rooms. Let's see the traces of the battle there. Di Jian suddenly shouts. Given their power, they can definitely make a rough deduction about the battle scene, based on the traces of the battle. Qin Yu says with a somewhat unsightly expression. This, because the battle took place a year ago, nearly half of the underground secret rooms were destroyed. Therefore, the underground secret rooms have already been rebuilt. That's why those traces of the battle are gone. Gone? Di Jian, Di Qing and Di Luan all look suspiciously at Qin Yu. They suspect that Qin Yu has destroyed the evidence. Your Majesties, at the moment, all the captains and 16 guardians have gathered in the main hall. My 2 brothers have also arrived. If you have any doubts, you can go ahead and ask them. Qin Yu says directly. Qin Yu looks at the 3 majesties with a hint of ruthlessness in his eyes. Your Majesties kept interrogating me. It seems you don't trust me at all. I can't do anything about it. Your Highnesses, you can ask anyone you want. True gold fears no fire. I'll go ahead and lead the way. Qin Yu goes straight into the main hall, ignoring the reactions of the 3 majesties. Oh, there is a hint of amazement on Di Luan's face. He did not expect Qin Yu to be so arrogant at this moment. If an ordinary person is really the murderer, he will definitely have a guilty conscience in front of us, and will be very respectful to us. He will answer whatever we ask, and will definitely not dare to lose his temper. This Qin Yu unexpectedly dared to lose his temper. Deal Wan says to Di Qing through his holy sense. Di Qing also says with a nod. Let's go and ask the others first. This Deal Wan is also a victim of his own cleverness. However, when the time comes, what is false is true. There are many things that are extremely hard to judge. In the main hall of the Red Blood Cave, at the moment, Di Jian and the other two are sitting in the places where Qin Yu, Hou Fei and Kuro are supposed to be. Qin Yu, Di Jian and Di Jian are leading the 16 guardians of the Red Blood Cave, as well as the squad leaders of the guards. They are listening to the orders of the 3 cave masters. Cave Master Qin Yu, your second brother and third brother are not very powerful. Di Qing, who is sitting in the middle, asks Qin Yu. Hou Fei scratches his ears and scratches his cheeks. He simply pays no attention to the 3 majesties sitting above him. Di Qing does not know that Qin Yu has already ordered Hou Fei and Kuro to restrain their auras while releasing their own energy. Di Qing and the others naturally discover that Hou Fei is at the late stage of yuanying, and Kuro is at the middle stage of yuanying. Your Majesty, don't judge my second brother because he is at the late stage of yuanying. He belongs to a different clan of water apes and is exceptionally talented. He can compete with early Dongshu stage experts. My third brother is also extremely formidable in the Eagle clan, second only to the Golden Flame Eagle. Qin Yu says on behalf of Hou Fei and Kuro. Hearing Qin Yu's words, a hint of disdain appears in the eyes of the 3 majesties. Both fiery-eyed water apes and Xiaohei are extremely rare demonic beasts. According to Uncle Lan, there is only one fiery-eyed water ape in the entire underwater Shuyao world. Moreover, Hou Fei has restrained his aura. So how can the 3 majesties possibly see that Hou Fei is not ordinary? Instead of hiding his power completely, it is better to slightly reveal it. Qin Yu just said that Hou Fei is comparable to an early Dongshu stage expert. The 3 majesties do not care about this little bit of power at all. Those guardians who entered the underground secret rooms and saw the traces of the battle come out. Di Qing shouts. Immediately, the 3 black turtle brothers Wu Tong and Wu Feng, the 2 snake women Yan Qing and Shi Yan, Tung Bai and Yazhong all go forward. In front of the 3 majesties of the 9 spirits hall, these 9 guardians are not arrogant at all. All of them are very respectful. Let's talk through holy sense communication. Don't worry about your words being heard by others. But don't lie either, because I'm going to ask all 9 of you. If I find out that the answer is different, then both of you will die. Di Qing says in a cold voice. The hearts of the 9 guardians tremble. Qin Yu also frowns. He immediately takes a step forward and says, Your Majesty, if one of these 9 guardians is lying but the other doesn't, won't that be harming the one who is telling the truth? At this moment, Qin Yu has to at least put in a little effort for his people. Cave Master Qin Yu, stand down or die. Di Jian, who has been resting with his eyes closed, suddenly opens them and shouts coldly at Qin Yu. His eyes are filled with ice-cold killing intent. Big brother, this guy is too strong. Even if I go berserk, I'm not sure I can beat him. You'd better bear with it. At this moment, the brutal Hou Fei unexpectedly sends a message to Qin Yu to comfort him. Qin Yu has no choice but to clench his teeth and take a step back. Di Jian takes a look at Qin Yu, then closes his eyes again to rest. Deal Wan and Di Qing are in charge of this matter. This time, Di Jian has come here with his strongest force to prevent anything from happening. In the view of the 9 Spirits Hall, if Old Freak Three-Eyed of the Blue River Province and the Overlord of the Blue Dragon Temple had not come here in person, it would have been really impossible for them to deal with Di Jian. The 9 protectors were all very nervous. None of them dares to lie because if one of them does, all of them will die. Di Qing's holy sense has covered the 9 guardians. If they secretly communicate with each other through holy sense communication, Di Qing will definitely be able to detect their holy sense fluctuations. Time goes by minute. However, the whole hall is terrifyingly quiet. Next, Di Qing says coldly. At the moment, Zhuang Zhong, who was the first to be questioned, is sweating profusely. Even though he has already been questioned, he is still in danger. If the others give different answers, they will all die together with Zhuang Zhong. Time goes by minute. All the guardians have been questioned. At this moment, Qin Yu is having the hardest time. Big brother, the people of the Nine Spirits Hall are really king bastards. Aren't they annoying? If they piss me off, I'll smash them to death with my stick first. Big brother, you kill that early Dongshu stage expert. Let's join hands and give the strongest one a good beating. Ho Fei is obviously a bit impatient facing this silent interrogation. This is because nobody knows what Di Qing and Di Luan have asked, and what they have learned. Di Qing and Di Luan's threats in the beginning have obviously worked. 8 guardians have been questioned in a row without any problems. Now it is the 9th guardian, Ba Jian, one of the 3 Black Turtle brothers, who is being questioned. Boom! Di Qing suddenly waves his hand. A purple beam of light shoots out. Without being able to resist, Ba Jian is blown to pieces. Humph, you even dared to lie. Di Qing suddenly stands up and glances at the other 8 guardians. They immediately turn deathly pale. A hint of fierceness flashes through Tung Bai's eyes. Your Majesty, we didn't lie. If the 8 of us who didn't lie are going to be killed just because he lied, we'll never accept it even if we die. Stop looking. Di Jian suddenly opens his eyes and shouts violently. A sound wave is shot out from Di Jian's mouth at a frighteningly fast speed. Tung Bai's face changes color greatly at once. He hurriedly shakes his body trying to dodge. However, the sound wave is too fast, so it still hits Tung Bai's body. Tung Bai is sent flying. He then falls on the ground and vomits 2 mouthfuls of blood. Tung Bai is seriously injured. A late Dongshu stage purple demon aquatic dragon is definitely comparable to a Kongming stage Xiuxianist. Only a shout is enough to seriously injure Tung Bai. The other 8 guardians' faces immediately darken. They understand that if the 3 majesties want to kill them, they will have absolutely no power to resist. Your Majesty, Qin Yu also speaks. He looks coldly at the 3 majesties above. A faint cold smile appears on the corners of Di Luan's mouth. He reaches out his hand to stop Di Jian, who is about to fly into a rage, saying at once, since Cave Master Qin Yu has spoken, all right, just now the last guardian must have lied. We won't implicate the other 8 guardians. Yan Qing and the other guardians immediately let out a long sigh of relief. However, they simply don't know that the last guardian, Ba Jian, did not lie at all. His answer is no different from that of the previous 8 guardians. Chapter 143. In the main hall, Guardian Ba Jian has been smashed into mincemeat. His blood even flows all over the floor. The entire main hall of the Red Blood Cave looks so ice-cold and bloody. Di Jian, Di Luan and Di Qing, who are standing above the main hall, look like ice-cold demon gods. Just like before, now we're going to question the 50 squad leaders and the remaining 7 guardians. I hope you won't lie, otherwise you can't blame us. Di Luan says smilingly. However, his smile is even more frightening. 9 of the 16 guardians have already been questioned. The remaining 7 guardians and the 50 squad leaders all look slightly nervous. The fright in the depths of their eyes is unconcealable. They are especially frightened when they see Ba Jian's mincemeat and blood. From left to right, from front to back, you go first. Di Luan points at a bald, strong guardian and says, this bald man is one of the Red Blood Cave's newly recruited guardians. He is usually very arrogant and heroic, and is really a brute. But now the muscles on his face are slightly trembling. With an ugly smile on his face, the bald man goes up. Afterwards, Di Luan and the bald man communicate via holy sense communication. Nobody knows what Di Luan is asking, and nobody knows how the bald man answers. This instead makes the people who are about to be interrogated even more frightened. You come up. Di Qing also points at a guardian next to the bald man and starts to question him. As time goes by, the guardians are interrogated one after another. Qin Yu frowns more and more deeply. Now it looks like the 3 brats of the Nine Spirits Hall aren't in a hurry to ask me about the Black Jade case. Instead, they keep interrogating these squad leaders and guardians. What do these squad leaders and guardians know? At most, they only know about the fight in the underground secret rooms. Looks like these 3 majesties attach more importance to Di Tong's death than to the Black Jade case. Di Luan and Di Qing, are going all out to interrogate these people one after another. Qin Yu finally discovers that his guess is wrong. Perhaps my plan from the beginning was wrong. That's because I misjudged the 9 brothers. The affection between the 9 brothers is so deep that it already surpassed the attraction of the black jade case. Qin Yu pondered extremely quickly in his mind. Back then, Qin Yu had thought that the people from the 9 Spirits Hall were here to investigate the matter of the 9 swords. Qin Yu had prepared a speech, but now he realized that the 3 Highnesses' attention was not on the black jade box. Qin Yu naturally had to think about how to deal with it. Suddenly, Qin Yu's expression changed. This is bad. If the relationship between the 9 brothers is deeper than the attraction of the 9 swords, then I'm the murder suspect. Although they aren't sure with their temperament, they will definitely kill the wrong person and not let me go. Qin Yu finally realized this. Who is the murderer of Di Tong's death? No one knew, but he was definitely the prime suspect. According to the temperament of these Highnesses, they would never let Qin Yu off. After thinking for a while, Qin Yu slightly raised the corners of his mouth. Fei, later on, no matter what happens, you'd better hide your power and don't get into action. I'll deal with everything. Ho Fei receives Qin Yu's message in his mind through holy sense communication. He immediately has a bad feeling and says hurriedly, Big brother, what are you going to do? Don't act recklessly. If you want to fight, we brothers will fight together. There's still some hope for the 3 of us to deal with the 3 of them. Don't worry. Have you forgotten that I went back to the valley last time? Qin Yu is not worried at all. The valley? Ho Fei is delighted at once. Big brother, did you go to the valley last time to find Master? Fei, Uncle Lon agreed that if you run into danger, you can send him a message directly. He'll definitely protect us. As soon as Qin Yu finishes speaking, Ho Fei becomes excited at once. That's great. With Master's words, what's there to worry about? F***K, let's fight a big battle first. Qin Yu says through holy sense communication. Fei, I don't want to bother Uncle Lon either. Let's play with the 9 Spirits Hall to our heart's content without any worries. Let's ask Uncle Lon to step in when the situation becomes too big to stop. Kaka, that's wonderful. Why don't we fight these 3 first? Ho Fei does not care at the moment. No one knows Uncle Lan's strength better than Ho Fei. If Ho Fei is like a rock, then Uncle Lon is like a towering mountain. The 2 are not on the same level at all. Don't be hasty. This blood-red cave is our territory. If we really start a fight, given the power of these 3 fellas, we won't be able to defeat them at all. Maybe the blood-red cave will even be destroyed. Let's wait until we leave the blood-red cave and find an opportunity to attack. Qin Yu immediately advises. All right, I'll listen to you, big brother. Ho Fei is now relieved. With Master behind me, what is there to be afraid of? Even if the sky falls, Master will hold it up. However, it's best if we don't trouble Master. If something happens, Master will step in. That would be too embarrassing. Ho Fei suddenly said mentally. Qin Yu laughed in his heart. He didn't expect that the fearless Ho Fei would have such thoughts. He immediately said mentally, Don't worry. Given our abilities, it won't be easy for the 9 Spirits Hall to deal with us. Since he has already determined that the 9 Spirits Hall is very likely to want to kill me, naturally Qin Yu's plan will change. If I compromise and pretend to be a minor character, they won't have any qualms about killing me. Thus, right now, I have to change my position in their hearts, so much so that they won't dare to kill me for a while. After all, the story has to be played properly. If we're going to play, let's play big. I wonder if the 9 Spirits Hall can afford to play. Qin Yu's gaze is cold as he stares at the 3 majesties. Suddenly, you actually dared to lie. You're courting death. Di Qing suddenly shouts coldly. With a wave of his hand, a ray of green light shoots out. The guard captain who is questioned is so scared that his face turns deathly pale. He is even unable to make any defensive movements. Di Qing is at the middle Dongxi stage, so how can a guard captain, who is only at the late Jindan stage, possibly withstand it? Bang! After a series of vibrations, the green light is actually repelled. Qin Yu slowly retracts his fist. Just now, Qin Yu was wearing a top-grade holy weapon, the flaming gloves, and clashed with the opponent's flying sword. In terms of strength, Qin Yu and Di Qing are on par. Di Qing's casual attack was blocked by Qin Yu, so the result is needless to say. The guard captain, who originally thought that he was going to die, is immediately overjoyed when he discovers that he didn't die. Seeing that the person in front of him is actually Qin Yu, he immediately becomes excited. Cave Master, thank you Cave Master. Extremely excited, the guard captain keeps saying non-stop. Qin Yu says smilingly, you stand aside. I'm here. Qin Yu looks at the three majesties above without the slightest fear in his eyes. Qin Yu, you're courting death. Di Jian, who has been resting with his eyes closed, suddenly opens his eyes and shouts coldly. After saying so, he is about to attack. However, at this moment, shut up. Qin Yu shouts violently all of a sudden, and looks coldly at Di Jian. Being shouted at like this, Di Jian's attack really stops. Immediately afterwards, he becomes even more furious. Sixth brother, don't attack yet. Di Luan says to Di Jian, then looks at Qin Yu, saying smilingly, Cave Master Qin Yu, our Nine Spirits Hall is interrogating them here. You even dared to obstruct us. Tell me, how should we punish you? Qin Yu, however, does not care at all. Majesties, they are all my subordinates. It's a bit too much for you to kill them so casually here. May I know what evidence do you have to kill them? Evidence? Don't tell me they are not worth killing because they lied? Di Luan looks at Qin Yu and says, lied? Did they lie? Are you sure? Qin Yu looks at the three majesties above without backing down in the slightest. The protectors and guardians behind Qin Yu, however, are indescribably moved by him. Qin Yu has dared to confront the three majesties of the Nine Spirits Hall for them. It is rare to see a cave master who cares so much about his subordinates. The guard captain, whose life was saved by Qin Yu, is especially emotional. Lies. His answer is different from the others. Isn't that still a lie? Don't tell me you're saying most of the others are lying and should be killed? Di Luan says smilingly. If Cave Master Qin Yu thinks so, we won't mind. Let's kill most of them. After saying so, Di Luan reaches out his hand. Majesties, you're being too arbitrary. Qin Yu says indifferently. Oh. Di Luan looks at Qin Yu with a hint of sarcasm in the depths of his eyes. He wants to see how Qin Yu will answer. Take the traces of the battle in that underground secret room for example. Not all the protectors and squad leaders have seen them. Many of them have only heard about it through hearsay. As for other things, how many of them have seen it with their own eyes? If you ask these people, it's only natural that their answers are somewhat different. Qin Yu continues. Moreover, even if it's the same place where the battle took place, different people will have different points of view. This is very normal. Different people have different points of view, so their conclusions will naturally be different. If you judge them as lying based on this, then, after saying this, Qin Yu stops and looks at the three majesties. Clap, clap. Di Luan claps his hands smilingly saying, wonderful. Cave Master Qin Yu is really good at quibbling. Pay attention to your words. I'm not quibbling. I'm telling the truth. Qin Yu says while looking at Di Luan. He has discovered that among these three majesties, the one who is talking to him is the key to their decisions. End of B1C9. Second brother, you go search all over this red blood cave first. See if you can find any traces to determine what happened that day. Di Luan says to Di Qing through his holy sense. Di Qing nods, then flies out of the main hall directly. Seeing Di Qing fly out of the main hall, Qin Yu says smilingly. Speaking of which, I still don't know who you are, majesties. Could it be you don't want to introduce yourselves? Qin Yu speaks frankly with assurance, as if he is talking to a good friend. Di Luan says with a nod. You don't need to know who we are. You only need to call me Seventh Majesty. The one who left just now was Second Majesty. This is Sixth Majesty, I know him. Just now you called him Sixth Brother, I heard you. Qin Yu continues. Di Luan suddenly says, Cave Master Qin Yu, just now you were unexpectedly able to take my second brother's attack head-on. Even though he didn't use his full strength, you were still able to withstand it. Looks like your power is comparable to a middle Dongshu stage expert. Seventh Majesty, you flatter me. Qin Yu slightly bows and says. He does not say anything else. Deal Wan's words are not spoken casually. A middle Dongxi stage purple demon aquatic dragon can catch up with an ordinary late Dongxi stage Xiuxianist. Di Qing's casual attack is extremely powerful. Qin Yu repelled that flying sword head-on. So his power is indeed comparable to a middle Dongxi stage expert. Just now I asked the guardians and learned something. I hope Cave Master Qin Yu can explain it to me. Deal Wan is still smiling. Seventh Majesty, please tell me. Deal Wan's body slightly emits traces of killing intent. When the other guardians discovered Shahon's death that day, they decided to choose a new cave master. Afterwards they went to your place. But you were cultivating at the moment. Why did you let them wait for 4 to 6 hours before you took action? Deal Wan's eyes glitter with coldness. Di Jian's ice-cold eyes also stare at Qin Yu. Qin Yu gives a brilliant smile. Seventh Majesty, could it be you don't know that there is a saying, the more powerful an expert is, the more likely he is to appear last? Qin Yu says mockingly. Deal Wan is stupefied. They wanted to fight me, so I had to fight them? That would be too shameful. I wanted them to wait for 4 to 6 hours before I took action. Only in this way can I show my status, right? Aren't all experts like this? As soon as Qin Yu says these words, Cave Master Qin Yu, nobody is joking with you. Explain why you made them wait for 4 to 6 hours. Di Jian shouts. At that time, Qin Yu was actually absorbing Yuanying energy, so that he could break through from the early Lu Xing stage to the middle Lu Xing stage. However, of course he cannot tell them the truth. I've already explained it. Presumably you've already asked them just now, and found out that I defeated Guardian Tongue by so easily. Given my power, shouldn't I put on airs and show my status? Qin Yu says doubtfully. Deal Wan frowns. Whoosh. With a movement of his body, Di Qing arrives at the top of the main hall. Seventh brother, I've searched the entire cave carefully. There's nothing special about it. I can't find any traces of the battle either. Di Qing says through holy sense communication. Luckily, Qin Yu had already put away Thunder Mountain House before the three majesties arrived. Otherwise, they would have found its miraculous nature hard to believe, which would have also caused trouble for Qin Yu. Therefore, Qin Yu had put away Thunder Mountain House in advance. Nothing. Deal Wan's eyelids tremble. He then stands up all of a sudden. There are no traces of the battle in the Red Blood Cave, so the only useful one is Cave Master Qin Yu in front of him. Cave Master Qin Yu, come with us to the Nine Spirits Hall to see my big brother, and help us investigate the battle in the underground secret rooms that day. Deal Wan says smilingly to Qin Yu. At this moment, Di Qing and Di Jian have also started to fight, fixing their eyes on Qin Yu. Chapter 144. Deal Wan, Di Qing and Di Jian are all telling Qin Yu with their eyes that he has only one choice. He must go with them. If he doesn't, he will die. Qin Yu bursts out laughing. At first it is just a smile, but then he bursts into loud laughter, as if he has heard a joke. Haha, your majesties are really funny. If you want to investigate the battle of that day, why don't you just ask here? Why do I have to go with you to that distant Nine Spirits Hall? Qin Yu does not care about the three majesties' cold gazes at all. Go or die. Di Jian looks at Qin Yu and says grimly. Di Qing and Deal Wan do not care about this at all. In their eyes, Qin Yu is very likely to be a murderer, so they would rather kill the wrong person than let him go. If this Qin Yu is too arrogant, they will not care even if he kills them. Qin Yu's face changes color. He stares at Di Jian. Die? Sixth Majesty. The underwater world of Zuyoists is boundlessly vast with countless experts. Do you really think you're invincible, and that you can sentence people to death directly? You should know that there's always a taller mountain. Stronger than you, Di Jian says very briefly. Qin Yu restrains his angry look from just now in an instant, and says smilingly, you are indeed stronger than me. If you don't want to know about the Black Jade case and the 8th Jade Sword, just kill me. Qin Yu says with his eyes closed. Di Jian, Deal Wan and Di Qing's eyes brighten. Even though 8th brother's death must be avenged, they still covet the 8th Jade Sword. At this moment, The expressions of a squad leader and two guardians below slightly change. However, nobody pays attention to them. Those who know the secret die. Di Jian glances at the other guardians and squad leaders. They immediately want to question Qin Yu, but since these squad leaders and guardians already know the secret, they naturally cannot leave them alive. Stop! Qin Yu shouts loudly at once. They are my subordinates, so you can't touch them. Besides, what are you worried about, Majesties? Just now I only said a few words. What can they know? Qin Yu wants to protect these people no matter what. Cave Master Qin Yu, are you sure you want to protect them? Diluan looks at Qin Yu. Qin Yu nods. Of course. They are my subordinates. If you kill them, my red blood cave will only exist in name. But if you kill them, you'll regret it for the rest of your lives. Although Qin Yu appears to be righteous and selfless, in fact he is, how can the water be muddied? For the rest of their lives? Hearing what Qin Yu said, the three majesties' expressions all changed. After thinking for a long time, they make a decision. All Luan shouts Luanzas. Want T, S8. T, TSDST. In fact, Ho Fei and Kuro only left the main hall because they received Qin Yu's holy sense communication. Otherwise, how could they have left? Cave Master Qin Yu, tell me, how do you know about the Black Jade case? Diluan restrains the anger in his heart and asks. Di Qing and Di Jian are also nervous. If Qin Yu knows about the Black Jade case, he will very likely know how their eighth brother Di Tong died. Compared to their eighth brother's death, the Black Jade case can be put aside. It's a secret, Qin Yu says smilingly with a confident expression. If you don't die. Di Jian's eyes glitter with coldness. If you kill him, you'll never know who killed your brother. Qin Yu turns his head away, not even looking at Di Jian. Qin Yu is right. If Di Jian is killed, they will never know who the murderer is. Hearing Qin Yu's words, the eyes of Diluan's group of three brighten. Qin Yu has obviously admitted that he knows who the murderer is. But seeing Qin Yu's impervious appearance, the three of them have a headache. Could it be Cave Master Qin Yu really won't tell you? Even if you die? Diluan says in a stern voice. Yes, even if I die. Qin Yu looks at Diluan, not willing to lower his head at all. Seventh brother. Could it be you've forgotten that there's a guardian in the ninth spirit's hall, whose true form is awakening jellyfish? Di Qing's voice rises in Diluan's mind. Diluan is immediately overjoyed. Awakening jellyfish is a relatively formidable demonic beast. There were two types of attacks. One was poison, and the other was devouring. After devouring a person completely, it can even obtain the victim's memories. This kind of secret skill is the same as Xiaohei's miraculous devouring technique, which he obtained after being modified by a forbidden technique. It can also obtain the victim's memories. With such a method, why do we need to interrogate him? Even if we do, this Qin Yu won't necessarily tell us the truth. Diluan has naturally made up his mind. Cave Master Qin Yu, are you really not going to tell us? Diluan does not dare to tell Qin Yu the truth. He is afraid that Qin Yu will rather die than go with him to the ninth spirit's hall. Qin Yu simply does not answer. Humph. Refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Second brother, sixth brother. Take him to the ninth spirit's hall. This brat knows about 9 swords and eighth brother. It's of great importance, so we'd better discuss it with the other brothers before making a decision. Diluan says to Di Qing and Di Jian. Di Qing naturally knows that Diluan is acting, so he also cooperates. All right, let's take him back first. Di Jian also nods. Cave Master Qin Yu, presumably you also know who's strong and who's weak? Second brother, seal his power. Diluan says to Di Jian on one side. Qin Yu's eyes turn cold as he stares coldly at Di Jian. I can go with you, but you want to seal my power? Dream on. At the moment, Qin Yu is like an angry lion. It seems that as soon as Di Jian attacks, Qin Yu will risk his life to resist. Seeing Qin Yu like this, Diluan frowns. Di Jian also pauses. They both know what they want to do. They want to take Qin Yu back, and let that guardian Qin Yu devour him. If Qin Yu dies here, they will not be able to learn about eighth brother, and the eighth jade sword. Seventh brother, forget it. Even if we don't seal his power, I'd like to see how he can escape from our hands. Di Jian says disdainfully. In Di Jian's eyes, Qin Yu can definitely be killed easily. That's more like it. But if you take me to the Ninth Spirit's Hall, I think you'll definitely regret it later. Qin Yu says smilingly. Regret? Diluan does not care about it at all. However, he sneers in his heart. We'll know who's going to regret it when the time comes. Xiaohei, you keep watch over the Red Blood Cave. I'm going to take a stroll around the Ninth Spirit's Hall with these three fellas. Qin Yu says to Kuro through holy sense communication. I'll go with you, big brother. Xiaohei's somewhat ice-cold voice rises in Qin Yu's mind. I've reached the late stage of Lu Xing. Even Di Jian can't match me in speed. You don't need to worry. You'll only be a burden to me if you go with me. Do you understand? Qin Yu says directly. Kuro is also sensible, so in the end he has no choice but to agree. Ho Fei, take a detour and rush towards the Ninth Spirit's Hall. I'll frequently send you my address through your transmitter. You just need to stay several tens of thousands li away from me. When the show starts, I'll call you. Qin Yu has already started to make arrangements. Ho Fei's voice through holy sense communication is filled with excitement. Kaka, that's really great. Big brother, I'll go first. Cave Master is called Qin Yu. He knows about the Black Jade Box and the 8th Jade Sword. Could it be the 8th sword is in his hands? A cold-looking man dressed in a blood-red robe mutters to himself, while holding a transmitter in his hand. There is an ice-cold smile on his face. Qin Yu, I must get him. Lord Tung says to himself, then immediately sends an order to the Overlord of the Blue Dragon Temple. Overlord has full confidence in me, but I don't have enough confidence in myself. Lord Tung gives a forced smile. That Di Jian and I are both at the late Dongshu stage, and I can even surpass him in terms of holy sense. But this purple demon aquatic dragon is much stronger than a horned dragon. It'll be very hard to beat him. Lord Tung feels very helpless. His holy sense has already reached the peak of the late Dongshu stage, completely surpassing Di Jian's. But if they really fight, he knows that he is no match for Di Jian. I can only rely on my wits. Fu Hao, that top-grade crystal I gave you last time isn't so easy to get. Lord Tung immediately summons the several guardians under his command via holy sense communication. The 8th Jade Sword. That cave master Qin Yu unexpectedly knows about it. Lord Lu's horizontal body is longer than his height. Lying on a chair, the fat on his body billows like waves. Lord Lu strokes his small beard. Looks like it's time to get into action. Lord Lu immediately took out a message token. After a while, he wipes the cold sweat on his forehead. Alas, old ancestor still has such a bad temper. Last time he fought over the 7th Jade Sword with Azure Dragon, the overlord of the Blue Dragon Temple, but in the end he was defeated. Old ancestor has always been brooding over it. Just now Lord Lu sent an order to Old Freak Three-Eyed of the Blue River Province. Old Freak Three-Eyed strictly ordered him to get Qin Yu, and then find the 8th Jade Sword. Perhaps that bastard Tung Shan is also secretly asking for it. Lord Lu's pupils turn completely red in an instant, looking very demonic. In the underwater world, Di Jian, Di Luan, Di Qing and Qin Yu are shuttling back and forth at the bottom of the sea together. Wherever the four of them go, the water parted and waves surged. Fly faster. Di Luan shouts at Qin Yu. Your Highness, this is already my fastest speed. Qin Yu replies helplessly. In the past, Di Jian and the other two would fly at Di Luan's speed. After all, Di Luan's speed is very slow. However, now the four of them are going back at half the speed. Qin Yu's speed is simply too slow. Even a late Yuanian cultivator can match your speed. Di Qing's expression is also unsightly. Qin Yu says with an innocent expression. What can I do if I'm slow? You're doing this on purpose. As far as we know, you were very fast when you killed that old turtle Qing Xian. Di Luan stares at Qin Yu and rebukes him angrily. Qin Yu, however, says helplessly. Your Highness, that was just a body maneuvering skill. Now I'm riding a flying sword. My body maneuvering skill is fast, but riding a flying sword is slow. Qin Yu's shamelessness finally infuriates the three majesties. Get on my flying sword. I'll take you flying. Di Qing shouts. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you with a sneak attack? Qin Yu looks smilingly at Di Qing. Di Qing's face immediately changes color. He already knows Qin Yu's power. At least Qin Yu is not much weaker than him. If he and Qin Yu ride a flying sword at such a close distance at the same time, once Qin Yu launches a sneak attack, then, I'll take you flying. Di Jin says in an ice-cold voice. Qin Yu is also happy and relaxed. He immediately jumps on Di Jin's flying sword. As soon as Qin Yu gets on Di Jin's flying sword, Di Jin's body is immediately covered with dense protective demonic elemental energy. At the same time, the purple demon armor also appears. Looks like you're also worried about my sneak attack. Qin Yu says smilingly. However, Qin Yu does not attack. Last time when he killed Di Tong, Qin Yu already knew how astonishing the defensive power of the purple demon armor is. Moreover, Di Jian is much stronger than Di Tong, so Qin Yu is not sure if he can kill Di Jian in one blow. If he cannot kill Di Jian in one blow, he will be forced to take Di Jian's terrifying revenge. Since Qin Yu is on Di Jian's flying sword, the speed of their advance doubles at once. After flying for more than a month, the four of them arrive at the Great Shell Cave. Haha, Majesties, to be honest, Cave Master Fu Hao is really considerate to all of you. He even specially built a purple demon tower to welcome all of you. Qin Yu praises while appreciating the magnificent purple demon tower in front of him. Fu Hao's jade-like skin is plump and very cute. His baby-like eyes roll, and he hurriedly says respectfully, "Last time you left in a hurry, so you didn't have time to take a look at this purple demon tower. All the ladies in waiting of this purple demon tower are outside. I know that you don't like being disturbed by ladies in waiting. If you need them, just order them directly." Di Qing, Di Jian and Di Luan look at the two-storied small building in front of them, appearing very satisfied. Even though this two-storied small building cannot be considered luxurious, it is very chic, and its structure is also unique. Obviously a lot of thought has been spent on it. Majesties, this purple demon tower is for the majesties of the Nine Spirits Hall to live in. I won't occupy a room in this purple demon tower. I'll just find another place to live. Qin Yu turns around smilingly. Cave Master Fu Hao, please arrange a place for me. Di Luan looks coldly at Qin Yu saying, "No need. You'll live with me. My second brother and sixth brother will live next door." "You, aren't you afraid that I'll kill you?" Qin Yu looks smilingly at Di Luan. Hearing this, Fu Hao's face slightly changes color. He hurriedly bows and says smilingly, "Majesties, there's nothing for me to do here, so I'll take my leave. If you need anything, you can order those ladies in waiting. Sixth brother likes quietness. Seventh brother, I'll live with him and watch over him." Di Qing says, "In fact, experts don't like to live with others. But now is not the time, so Di Qing has no choice but to endure." Qin Yu's heart is also slightly shaken. He is confident that he can kill a defenseless Di Qing. But how can Di Qing be defenseless? If Qin Yu can't kill Di Qing with one move, Di Jian in the next room will definitely attack. After returning to his own room, Fu Hao wipes the cold sweat on his forehead. Damn it! This time it's going to be big. Lord Tung of the Blue Dragon Temple and Lord Lu of the Blue River Province will definitely get into action tonight to seize that Cave Master Qin Yu. Then there are the three majesties. At the thought of this, Fu Hao cannot help frowning. Headache, what a headache. I hope I won't be implicated. Otherwise I'll be screwed. Looks like things from the Blue Dragon Temple and the Blue River Province won't be easy to take. In the entire Great Shell Cave, only Fu Hao knows that tonight is going to be an unusual night. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.